Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Reincarnated into the sacred tree, I create a family of yin soldiers. Chapter 81. The warriors of the Chen family, who were still retreating steadily, were now on par with many warriors of the Lu family, and even had the momentum of becoming more and more courageous as they fought. On the other hand, the Lu family warriors were all shocked by this scene. Even Lu Zishan, the well-informed patriarch, was caught off guard by the scene in front of him. He felt the huge improvement brought by this combat skill, but he also saw the huge disadvantages of this combat skill. It's enough for one person to use this combat skill, but now even a warrior in the body-tempering realm is self-destructing. Even if we win the battle, the family will probably be ruined, right? How could such combat skills be passed down within the family? Wouldn't that make the family self-destructive? Where is the head of the Chen family? He doesn't care. Lu Zishan looked for Chen Xingzhen's figure in the crowd, and soon saw Chen Xingzhen, who had exploded his two organs one after another and whose strength had greatly increased. As the leader of the clan, Chen Xingzhen was of course given special care by the warriors of the Lu family. Faced with the siege of two warriors in the late stage of blood coagulation realm, if he did not use this combat skill, he would probably die soon due to his old age and weakened strength. This left Lu Zishan speechless. Now that the matter has come to this, he has nothing more to say. Seeing that many tribesmen were beginning to be injured, Lu Zishan stood up again and shouted, "Hold on, they won't last long." He also wanted to know how long the improvement in strength brought about by this combat technique would last. As long as the family can withstand it, after the great uncle destroys the sacred tree, the Chen family will have no chance. Even after using this combat technique, the Lu family warriors still had the advantage. The gap in family strength cannot be smoothed out by this point. On the other side, Lu Shengrong had arrived 10 meters away from the ancestral hall. The scene in the ancestral hall gave him a clear view from the air. The locust tree standing in the ancestral hall, with its branches and leaves emitting a faint fluorescent light, quickly attracted his attention. The moment he saw the locust tree, Lu Shengrong's face showed a trace of solemnity. He originally thought that the Chen family was just a lucky little family, but this locust tree gave him a different feeling. Lu Shengrong no longer hesitated and flew forward, preparing to destroy the sacred tree. At this time, a sharp wind suddenly hit his ears, which gave Lu Shengrong a huge crisis in his heart. Are there any masters? Even though he was standing in the air and was attacked by a surprise attack, he, who was in the middle stage of the Shantian realm, took his time and twisted his body into a twist, successfully evading the sneak attack. The sound of punches passed by his ears. After Lu Shengrong escaped, he noticed the person who had just attacked. This is a handsome-looking young man. He is only over 20 years old, but he actually has an innate realm. This surprised Lu Shengrong. Didn't it mean that the Chen family did not have Shantian realm warriors? Then where did the person in front of him come from? But when Lu Shengrong observed carefully, he quickly discovered something was wrong. Although the young man in front of him had the innate realm, his muscles, bones, and qi and blood had not been completely integrated, and he lacked a trace of the charm of the true innate realm. Oh, it turns out that I borrowed other things to reach the innate realm. It seems that this is the ability of your family's sacred tree, right? After understanding, Lu Shengrong's face returned to calmness again. Chen Qingyu did not answer. Although he had barely been promoted to the Shantian realm after using Sephora japonica leaves, he could not hold on for long. He needed to fight quickly. Chen Qingyu, who missed the attack, once again took the shadow step and used the Teizu long fist to attack Lu Shengrong. As long as he is around, no one can touch the family sacred tree. Lu Shengrong was in the middle stage of the Shantian realm, and he used the Zon-level combat skills in his family. He himself had fallen from the great perfection of the Shantian realm. Whether it is combat experience or other aspects, Chen Qingyu, who relied on external force to reach the innate realm, is now completely defeated. Facing Chen Qingyu's offensive, Lu Shengrong felt that there were many flaws. But after the actual fight, Lu Shengrong's expression changed slightly. This kid is not afraid of death. Every attack is done in a way of exchanging injuries for injuries, and even risking one's life. Lu Shengrong didn't want to get hurt, and he didn't think the Chen family could get him hurt. Moreover, After he was injured, it would most likely affect his recovery of strength and disrupt his ability to break through the inner gang realm in the future. Therefore, when faced with Chen Qingyu's fighting style, Lu Shengrong always chose to avoid his frontal attack, and instead used his Zon-level combat skills and rich experience to fight against him. After a few rounds, Chen Qingyu's face was pale and there were many wounds on his body, while Lu Shengrong on the opposite side was still unscathed. This is the difference between the two. It's just that Chen Qingyu's style of play still made Lu Shengrong quite annoyed, but he didn't really break through his defense line for a while. Sensing that the fighting between other tribesmen was still going on, Lu Shengrong knew that he should make a quick decision. Boom, 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 boom. Just when he was about to use all his strength, several explosions suddenly came from his ears. When he looked at Chen Qingyu again, there were several streaks of blood on his upper body, but what followed was that Chen Qingyu, who was originally at the early stage of the Shantian realm, was suddenly promoted to the middle stage of the Shantian realm, and even vaguely reached the late stage of the Shantian realm, means to get closer. In terms of pure realm, it is even a little higher than his current realm. This made Lu Shengrong's face darken. Such fighting skills. But he underestimated the Chen family. But if you have a realm but no corresponding strength, how long can you persist? Although Chen Qingyu, who had his internal organs exploded one after another, was pale, his eyes were extremely clear. Sephora Japonica does not last long. If this person cannot be dealt with in a short time, the family will be defeated. This is also the reason why he just exploded the 4 internal organs one after another. He still needs more power. This power can only be brought by the 5 internal organs ascension technique. At this moment, Chen Qingyu felt that he was wrapped in powerful power, and even the pain in his body was ignored by him. After breaking through the realm again, his speed and strength were greatly improved, and even some previously puzzling knowledge about Teizu Chengquan suddenly became clear at this moment. Time was running out. Chen Qingyu did not hesitate and attacked Lu Shengrong again. This time Lu Shengrong was not as relaxed as before. Instead, he was afraid of Chen Qingyu's attack. In his eyes, Chen Qingyu is already a dead person. As long as he can delay it for a short period of time, Chen Qingyu will definitely die, so why let himself get hurt? Outside, the Chen family members have been slowly retreating, getting closer and closer to the ancestral hall. Although the 5 internal organs ascension technique can provide powerful strength in a short period of time, as everyone loses energy and blood, their own strength is also declining rapidly. In order to buy more time, many tribesmen have begun to explode the 2nd and 3rd organs. However, the effects of the subsequent attacks were not as good as the first time, because after everyone was injured, the loss of energy and blood accelerated. But this also saved the family a lot of time. I don't have a body, what can I do? Is the family going to die again? The Lu family is really too strong, and there are Shantian realm warriors. Otherwise, how could the family be in this situation? Hey, if I had known this, maybe I should have let go of the bleeding fountain. Above the family, Chen Chengming and many other souls sighed while observing the battle below, but they did not dare to get too close. The power brought by the burst of qi and blood of the warriors also has a great impact on their souls, not to mention there are many blood coagulation realm warriors below. At this moment, they can only watch from a distance and cannot even help the family. This made everyone anxious, but they couldn't solve it. Chen Chengming floated into the ancestral hall and wanted to pray to the sacred tree for help. But after praying, he didn't get any response from the sacred tree. This made Chen Chengming sigh. It seems that the sacred tree has reached its limit. If it were not for the locust leaf of the sacred tree, the family might have perished by now. How could he ask for so much? On the other side, Lu Zishan had a big headache. These people really don't want to die. He had heard the popping sound next to his ears dozens of times, and now he was used to it. The dirty fighting skills of the Chen family were not ineffective. Although they were still defeated, the Lu family suffered many casualties. Fortunately, it was finally over. Looking at the body of another Chen family member, several streaks of blood spattered out due to the explosion. Lu Zishan snorted coldly. He wanted to see how many times these people could explode. At this moment, there was blood oozing out from Lu Zishan's abdomen, which was the result of Chen Tianjing's successive explosions of the 3 internal organs. If he hadn't dodged in time, he might have been killed in one blow just now. However, the balance of victory still tilts towards the Liu family. Just when Liu Zixin was about to give orders to his clansmen, encourage his momentum, and annihilate the Chen family members in one fell swoop, he saw countless green light spots suddenly seeping out of the originally calm ground. These green light spots are like fireflies in the dark night, slowly floating upward at the moment. What is this? Everyone, be careful. The Liu family warriors who discovered this green light looked surprised and hurriedly moved away to avoid being contaminated by this strange thing. But when many members of the Chen family were originally undefeated and had their internal organs exploded after using the 5 internal organs ascension technique, they showed joy on their faces when they saw these green light spots floating on the ground, and they shouted, "Sacred tree! The sacred tree takes action! Everyone, suck it quickly!" Before he finished speaking, these green light spots had already floated towards the bodies of many injured members of the Chen family, and then immersed themselves in them. Green light points entered the body, and many tribesmen who had been seriously injured just now felt that their injuries were recovering quickly. This repair is not just about external injuries, even the 5 internal organs that were exploded due to the use of the 5 internal organs ascension technique are actually being reborn at this moment. Feeling that their injuries were recovering and that the power of the explosion had not diminished, the Chen family's momentum increased greatly. And a steady stream of green light spots are pouring out from the ground. It looks like a sea of green. With so many reserves, the Chen family members are even more excited. Boom! A body-tempering realm tribesman couldn't restrain the excitement in his heart, and a splash of blood spattered from his heart. He wanted to see how much improvement would be achieved by exploding this 5th internal organ. Would it allow him to directly break through to the blood coagulation realm? Gah! The next moment, this tribesman fell to the ground, feeling very cold. On the side, Chen Xingzhen, who was recovering from his internal injuries, was stunned when he saw it, and then he shouted angrily, "You are not allowed to explode your heart, otherwise you will not be allowed to enter the family ancestral hall after you die. No results are allowed." The scene just now and the words of the clan leader made many clan members suppress the excitement in their hearts, and their original thoughts of trying it came to an abrupt end at this moment. They originally wanted to see their deceased relatives after the war and take the opportunity to experience life there. Such fame and fortune. But if you are not allowed to enter the ancestral hall after death, and you are not allowed to bear the consequences, then you are not really dead. Opposite, Liu Zixin took a deep breath watching this scene. Especially after hearing Chen Xingzhen's words, Liu Zixin found it even more difficult to understand. Even if you die, is it really that important to enter the family ancestral hall? What does it mean that the result is not allowed? When he looked at the many Chen family members who were gradually recovering from their injuries, Liu Zixin felt even more frightened. Is this really the power of the family totem? Even Master Qingling at his peak didn't have such an effect, right? Liu Zixin immediately noticed those green light spots. Apparently the enemy's recovery from injuries was due to these green light spots. Suck it, suck me. Liu Zixin issued the order, and many tribesmen noticed the situation and moved towards these green light spots. But when they got closer to these green light spots, they found that they could not touch these green light spots. This situation made Liu Zixin's expression extremely ugly. Kill, kill for me. Liu Zixin's eyes turned red and he didn't believe it. With the current strength of the family, it is actually unable to defeat this small Chen family. But why did it take so long for my great uncle to do it? In an instant, the two sides were fighting together again. But this time the situation was reversed. The tribesmen blessed by many green light spots seemed to have taken stimulants and powerful pills and rushed over without their lives. Not only was the mentality of the Liu family warriors greatly affected, but their momentum was also weakened at this moment. In addition, many tribesmen have been injured, so they will be invincible in battle. The situation is almost tilted to one side, and even the several late-stage blood coagulation realm warriors in the clan are miserable at this moment. Logically speaking, their strength is considered to be superior among the two warriors. Not to mention that the Chen family only has a few blood coagulation realm warriors, many of whom are still in the early stages of the blood coagulation realm. But when these people became dirty, their strength became extremely powerful. And warriors like Chen Tianjing and Chen Tianyu, who are in the middle stage of the blood coagulation realm, have become even more powerful after exploding their 4 internal organs. They have almost reached the level of the blood coagulation realm, and can fight 1 against 2 without falling behind. Several blood coagulation realm warriors in the clan died due to the sudden explosion of their organs by these 2 people. Not to mention that there are still those green light points blessing, making them fearless. If it hadn't been for the Shengrong clan who hadn't returned yet, they would have wanted to withdraw. What the hell is this? Outside the ancestral hall, Lu Shengrong, who was fighting with Chen Qingyu, looked at the green light spots that suddenly appeared, his expression slightly ugly. These green light spots directly made his previous battle results in vain, and also made Chen Qingyu's condition become better. Even the continuously declining momentum and realm stagnated after absorbing the green light spots. However, he was also experienced and soon turned his attention to the unknown sacred tree in the ancestral hall. All of this must be because this tree is causing trouble. Lu Shengrong, who noticed the source, planned to destroy the sacred tree first. But the distraction during the fight caused him to accidentally eat Chen Qingyu's Teizu Chengquan style. Although the injury was not serious, it was difficult for Lu Shengrong to accept it. Because he still had the upper hand just now. Although Chen Qingyu had no strength, he couldn't touch the corners of his clothes. But now, it has been able to hurt him. If he hadn't reacted in time just now, he might have been seriously injured. Why? Lu Shengrong's face was ugly, and he was surprised and confused. You're old. You're afraid of death, Chen Qingyu said calmly while fighting each other. And Chen Qingyu's words made Lu Shengrong's beard tremble and his face was disgraced. In the first battle, he had already noticed Chen Qingyu's progress, and the gap between the 2 gradually narrowed under his fearless attacks. Although there is still a gap in the proficiency of combat skills, Chen Qingyu has quickly become familiar with Shadow Step and Teizu Chengquan, and from time to time he will use the heart-destroying palm. He noticed that this boy was making rapid progress, but in his heart he didn't feel that Chen Qingyu would be his opponent. He had to face up to the injury just now. Indeed, he is old, he is already 130 years old. He is also afraid of death. As long as the family totem is revived, he can return to his peak, break through the inner gang, and extend his lifespan for another 50 years. 50 years is not a long time, and he even has the opportunity to make further progress in these 50 years. The world is vast, and a bigger world is still waiting for him. He firmly believes that he can succeed. He has a bright future. Why should he fight against the kid in front of him? These are all facts, but he doesn't want to admit it. How could Lu Shengrong, the genius in his family, be afraid of death? How could he be afraid of death? Thoughts rose in his mind, and Chen Qingyu's attack struck again. Looking at Chen Qingyu, who was using Teizu Chengquan with all his strength, Lu Shengrong did not dodge this time, but gathered his energy and blood in his palm. When he struck out, a ray of white light shone out from his hand. The moon is as bright as frost. This is the family's Zon level mid-level combat skill, and it is also a combat skill that he has been famous for a long time. When practiced to a high level, every palm can activate frost and hinder the enemy's movement. If one can reach the realm of inner gang, when used, it is also accompanied by the vision of the bright moon, which increases its power. Although he has never perfected this combat skill, when he strikes with all his strength, a lot of frost still emerges from his palm. Feeling the power of this blow, Chen Qingyu's face became solemn as he punched. Although he had just been blessed by green light points, he had recovered a lot from his injuries. But he has already felt that the effect of the locust leaves is gradually fading, and the strength of the 4 internal organs that exploded is also slowly declining, and has even almost caused him to fall to the early stage of the innate realm. Although the 5 internal organs ascension technique is very effective, even after it is repaired by the green light spot, it will still not be able to erupt for the second time in a short period of time, at least after a month. Because of this, he spoke out to anger Lu Shengrong. Although he poked the weak point in his heart, he must win this blow. Otherwise, he will never have such a good opportunity again. Chen Qingyu's face was determined, and all the energy and blood in his body were concentrated on his fists. The memory of the Teizu Chengquan combat skill emerged in his mind. It rises like wind, strikes like lightning, looks like a swimming dragon, and moves like lightning. Blessed to the soul, Chen Qingyu had a flash of inspiration in her mind, and there was some enlightenment in her eyes. At this time, a humanoid shadow appeared from behind, and its movements were consistent with Chen Qingyu's punch. This is the ultimate secret of Teizu Changquan. Boom. When the two fists and one palm met, the two people who took action were knocked away. As the frost penetrated his body, Chen Qingyu felt that his body had become much sluggish, and the injuries inside his body made him unable to move. Just now, he was in the middle stage of the Shantian realm, but now he has fallen to the early stage of the Shantian realm, and is still declining rapidly. But when Chen Qingyu looked at Lu Shengrong, who was also knocked away, a smile appeared on her lips. At this moment, Lu Shengrong lost all his dignity, his palms could not stop shaking, and he pressed back in a posture that he could not usually do. On his chest, there was a huge fist mark, which directly caused his body to sink inwards by several centimeters. After all, he won. The huge injury made Lu Shengrong wake up, and he felt the damage to his body. Recalling his state of mind just now, and looking at Chen Qingyu who had fallen into a state of decline, Lu Shengrong regretted it. Why didn't he avoid it? And when he saw countless green light points rushing toward Chen Qingyu, who was also seriously injured, Lu Shengrong actually had a hint of flinching in his eyes. Although he was angry inside, the current situation was indeed not very good for him. Especially because the tribesmen outside had not been able to deal with the rest of the Chen family for so long, this made him even more angry. I won't lose. Lu Shengrong stood up slowly, his energy and blood flowing in his body, quickly recovering from the injuries on his body. How could a Shantian realm warrior with a strong vitality be defeated so easily? As for the broken right hand, Lu Shengrong used his left hand to forcefully pull it over. The severe pain in his arm made his old face look extremely ferocious. Kakaka. After several sounds came from the bones, the right hand returned to normal, but it could not be used for a short period of time. However, looking at Chen Qingyu, whose realm had fallen to the late stage of blood coagulation, Lu Shengrong showed a proud smile on his ferocious face. So what if he only has one hand left? He can still win. You all must die. Lu Shengrong did not hesitate, dragging his injured body and running towards Chen Qingyu at a very fast speed again. He was already afraid. He was worried that this kid would improve his level again and deal with Chen Qingyu before he would deal with the tree. Seeing Lu Shengrong's attack, Chen Qingyu, who had recovered most of his injuries, quickly stood up, but the drop in his realm had slowed down his strength too much. Chen Qingyu looked calm and used Teizu Changquan again. But this time there was no shadow accompanying him, because the great achievement he just achieved was just a realm he relied on, and it was caused by a little inspiration in his mind, and it was far from a true great achievement in combat skills. But Chen Qingyu showed no fear. At this time, several roots suddenly extended out from the ground and surrounded Lu Shengrong. Facing these sudden roots, Lu Shengrong ignored them and just fixed his gaze on Chen Qingyu in front of him. When a root stopped in front of him, Lu Shengrong grabbed the root with one hand and tried to tear it off. But before he could exert any force, the extremely high temperature coming from the roots made him quickly let go of his left hand holding the roots, and his progress was stalled. What the hell is this? Looking at the large burn on his left hand, Lu Shengrong's eyes were filled with surprise. But at this time, several roots had already trapped it. Good chance. Chen Qingyu's eyes were bright, her body was approaching, and she used the Teizu Chong fist again. Lu Shengrong, who was troubled by the roots, didn't even have time to defend himself. The Lu family's only Shantian realm warrior fell completely with eyes full of unwillingness. Okay, great, Qingyu wins. Ha 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 ha, the sacred tree protects my Chen family. ... In the sky above, many living souls could not help but shout with joy when they saw this. The biggest crisis for the family tonight is this Shantian realm warrior, but now this Shantian realm warrior is finally dead. On the other side of the battlefield, the Chen family also had a great advantage with the help of a large number of green light spots. Many members of the Lu family have been seriously injured and are gradually losing their battle. The only one who is still holding on is their great-uncle who is a Shantian warrior. As long as uncle comes back, victory will still belong to his Lu family. But Lu Zishan waited for a long time, watching the clan members around him fall one by one, but he never saw the family's eldest uncle return. This gave Lu Zishan a bad feeling in his heart. But after thinking about it, he guessed that the great uncle might have gained something else there, or was entangled. You must know that the great uncle has mastered several profound level combat skills and is still a warrior in the middle stage of the Shantian realm. With the strength of the Chen family, it is impossible for them to be the opponent of the great uncle. As long as they persist, the family will surely win. With this mentality, even if his body was injured, Lu Zishan became more and more courageous as he fought. Unfortunately, under the endless green light spots, the Chen family members were like Xiaoqiang who could not be killed. Only by hitting the vital point could they survive. Kill with one blow. But Chen family warriors also know this. Their attacks, which appear to be fearless, are actually guarding their heads and hearts, making them extremely difficult to deal with. Just when Lu Zishan was about to boost the morale of the remaining tribesmen and let them hold on for a while, he suddenly saw a figure returning from the darkness out of the corner of his eye. Lu Zishan was overjoyed when he saw this. His uncle is back. As the figure approached, Lu Zishan's happy face gradually showed a hint of surprise. When he saw the person clearly, the surprise on Lu Zishan's face turned into fear and shock. It's the great uncle who has returned. But at this moment, the great uncle was being held in the hands of a young man like a chicken, as if he was lifeless. The blood flowing out of the corpse formed a bloody path behind it, making people shudder. Even if he didn't want to believe it, this scene still impacted Lu Zishan's mind, leaving him stunned. How can it be? He is just a blood coagulation realm. When the facts were before his eyes, the determination in Lu Zishan's eyes disappeared, and the sound of fighting in his ears also brought him back to reality. Looking at the few remaining tribesmen, Lu Zishan took a deep breath and shouted to the remaining tribesmen. Retreat, retreat. As soon as these words came out, the momentum of the Lu family members who were still insisting instantly collapsed and they ran away one after another. Chase. We can't let them go. Chen Tianyu's words rang out in the crowd. Although he was unable to withstand Lu Shengrong's blow before, he quickly recovered due to the recovery of the green light spots and became the strongest person in the subsequent battle. The 4 internal organs that exploded made him directly having achieved great success in the blood coagulation realm. One has the courage to be invincible to 10,000 men. After seeing Lu Shengrong's body held by Chen Qingyu, he was also stunned for a moment. But when he heard that the Lu family members were trying to escape, how could he let them go? He immediately moved forward alone, preparing to pursue them. When they were chased outside the clan, many clan members were still very energetic. However, as the remaining Lu family members resisted, many clan members also realized that something was wrong. They chased them out, but those green light spots didn't follow them. Although there are not many people left in the Lu family, most of the remaining ones are late-stage blood coagulation realm warriors. A skinny camel is bigger than a horse. While everyone was hesitating, Chen Xingzhen, whose strength was exhausted, stood up from the crowd. Stop chasing. The reason why the clansmen were able to defeat it was mainly due to the power of the sacred tree. But the power of the sacred tree is obviously limited to a certain range. If we continue to pursue, the situation may be reversed directly. They who have already used the Wuzang Ascension technique cannot improve their strength again in a short period of time. It is really irrational to continue chasing. Moreover, the injuries of the tribe members seem to have recovered now, but the sequelae of the 5 internal organs ascending to heaven technique are not just that. Even the power of the sacred tree cannot restore them to their original state in a short period of time. Clan leader, if you let the tiger return to the mountains, there will be endless troubles. Chen Xingzhen sighed after hearing this. How could he not know this? Although the Lu family lost a lot of people this time, the remaining ones are also the elites of the family. After they have rested for a period of time, the Lu family will still have strong power. On the other hand, there are too few high-level warriors in the family. This is very different from the Li family last time. After all, the remaining warriors of the Li family were no longer enough to pose a threat to the family. After the Lu family warriors return this time and regroup, the family may not have a great advantage. But now that he leads the warriors from the clan to chase him out, the situation may not be better. No need to say more, I have made up my mind. Chen Xingzhen waved his hand to stop several tribesmen who wanted to chase them out. In the ancestral hall, Chen Chengming and others also frowned. Cut the grass without eradicating its roots, but it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. Moreover, the Lu family also has information about the natural blood spring. Now there is only one Lu family fighting for it. But if the Lu family realizes that there is no hope of revenge, after the news is conveyed, will other families come to fight for it? These are unknown risks. Unfortunately, with the current strength of the family, it is impossible to deal with the remaining members of the Lu family. What is even more regrettable is that they can only watch from the sidelines and cannot help the family. The feeling of powerlessness in life caused many souls present to fall into silence. I thought that resurrecting was a good thing, but now it seems that this is not a bad thing. Just when everyone was silent, the sacred tree in the ancestral hall once again gave off a dazzling light. This made Chen Chengming and others couldn't help but look up. I saw several locust leaves floating down from the branches and leaves of the sacred tree. Everyone watching this scene had doubts on their faces. They already knew the function of this locust leaf, which was to allow family warriors to increase their strength and even temporarily improve their realm. And the effect is better than the 5 internal organs ascension technique, at least there are no side effects. But they are just souls and have no bodies. What effect does this locust leaf have on them? No matter how powerful their souls are, they cannot touch anything in the real world. Etc. At this time, Chen Chengming suddenly realized something was wrong. Just because this time the locust leaves are not bright green, but black. What's the difference? Everyone looked at a loss, and the locust leaves soon fell into the hands of many souls. Chen Chengming stretched out his hand to catch a locust tree leaf. The moment he caught it, the locust tree leaf in his hand changed rapidly. A layer of black armor extends from the arms to all parts of his body. In less than half a breath, his soul body was completely wrapped in black armor, leaving only a pair of empty eyes exposed. Feeling the armor outside his body, Chen Chengming suddenly looked stunned. Could it be that, without hesitation, Chen Chengming landed directly from midair? Clatter. A slight sound reached everyone's ears. Although the sound was small, it was extremely clear to everyone's ears. The next moment, Chen Chengming looked overjoyed. The black armor transformed from the locust leaves could actually allow them to come into contact with the real thing. Doesn't this mean that they can also fight for the family? After other tribesmen saw this scene, they also thought of this instantly, and each soul body caught a locust leaf one after another. Within a few seconds, there were about 20 souls in the ancestral hall, and their bodies were all wrapped in black armor. Some tribesmen even discovered that the locust leaves could not only be turned into armor, but also weapons could be produced according to their thoughts. Thank you, Lord Divine Tree. Chen Chengming immediately bowed to the sacred tree, then floated into the air again and said, I, the son of the Chen family, come with me to hunt down the enemy. Kill. Many souls who felt the changes in their bodies were emotionally excited. They have been waiting for a long time for the family battle. Under the leadership of Chen Chengming, these souls floated directly from the sky above the ancestral hall and headed towards the location of the Lu family. Outside the ancestral hall, Chen Xingzhen, who was arriving, also caught a glimpse of the scene above his head. He couldn't see clearly the faces of these figures wrapped in black armor, but he felt familiar in these figures. Sacred tree. It must be the power of the sacred tree. Chen Xingzhen quickly thought of the reason, and there was a hint of joy on his face that was originally worried. If father and the others can deal with the remaining members of the Lu family will surely perish. As the clan leader, Chen Xingzhen quickly thought of something and immediately turned back and shouted to the many clansmen who were cleaning up the battlefield. All blood coagulation realm warriors in the clan, follow me in pursuit. Quote. After hearing Chen Xingzhen's order, everyone looked puzzled. Didn't they just say that they couldn't pursue him? Why did the clan leader suddenly change his mind? They didn't notice the figure floating in the sky just now, and naturally they didn't know what happened. Chen Xingzhen did not explain much, but several blood coagulation realm warriors in the clan sensed it and immediately left the clan with Chen Xingzhen without caring about cleaning the battlefield. Clan leader, uncle, is he really dead? Within the Lu family, the remaining clan members have returned, but everyone is in a sluggish state, with a hint of disbelief in their eyes. When the battle first started, they were too busy fighting to notice that scene. Facing the expectant looks of many tribesmen, Lu Zishan nodded helplessly. Until now, He is still confused. Why does the great uncle in the Shantian realm just hang up without any precautions? What is the strength of this Chen family? Could it be said that more than 2 months are enough for the Chen family, which is about to perish, to give birth to a Shantian realm warrior? But now is not the time to consider this matter. They lost this time, but not completely. Lu Zishan looked around at the tribesmen who had escaped. There were 8 blood coagulation realm warriors in total. With him, there were 4 late blood coagulation realm warriors, and the others were also in the middle stage of the blood coagulation realm. Although the state is not good, the core strength of the clan is still there. And he noticed that when they fled the Chen family, those green light spots did not chase them out. This also made the Chen family lose their intention to pursue. The reason for this failure was that the Chen family's combat skills were in harmony with the power of the sacred tree, but he didn't believe how many internal organs of the Chen family could be exploded, nor did he believe that the combat skills had no drawbacks, and he didn't believe in the so-called family of the Chen family. The divine power of the sacred tree can be endless. After the clan members recover from their injuries, the Lu family will definitely make a comeback. Natural blood spring, they must. Clan leader, what should we do now? Do we want to leave the family? One tribesman said with a slightly panicked expression. Lu Zishan glanced at the other clan members and saw that they were all like this. This battle caused a great loss of confidence among the tribesmen. It was necessary for him to reintegrate the confidence of the tribesmen and immediately prepare to explain, encourage the tribesmen, and analyze the gap between the enemy and ourselves. Ah! At this time, a scream from a guard clan member suddenly came from outside the door, which shocked several people. Clan leader, are the Chen family and others catching up? This is how to do. Lu Zishan frowned, and the majesty of the patriarch was revealed again. Why panic? Without the help of the sacred tree, why would the Chen family dare to chase us? After hearing this, everyone also came to their senses. Yes, they are blood coagulation realm warriors. If it weren't for those green light spots, how could they have fled this time? Let's go out and take a look. I still don't believe they dare to chase me. Even so, several people also cautiously rushed towards the place where the screams came from. When a few people arrived, they only found a few long dead bodies among the clan. Lu Zishan clenched his fists and looked around, feeling surprised and suspicious in his heart. Is this really Chen family warriors catching up? But why does he feel something is wrong? If it was really them, what about their people? Why didn't he see any trace of them? It only took a few breaths for everyone to arrive just now. There is no reason for them to disappear so quickly. Is it possible that they are still in the sky? The moment the thoughts emerged in his mind, Lu Zishan's expression changed drastically. Get out of the way. After being reminded, Lu Zishan was the first to dodge. Just after he dodged, there was a sound of wind behind his ears, and then there was an explosion from the ground. Before he had time to look back and observe the situation, the screams of other tribesmen could be heard in his ears. These screams were accompanied by deep panic. What the hell is this? Lu Zishan was startled and was about to turn around, but suddenly felt the danger of death coming from all directions. When he looked carefully, he saw a dark figure wrapped in armor in the dim light. No, it's 2 paths, 3 paths, 4 paths. Those who hide their heads and show their tails, die. Lu Zishan, who was anxious in his heart, no longer suppressed his anger, and struck out with a bright moon-like frost palm. Although it doesn't have the momentum and frost of the great uncle, it is still a mid-level Zon-level combat skill. Hit. Lu Zishan's face was filled with joy, and he felt that his palm did not miss, but actually hit the black shadow in front of him. But the next moment, he saw that the shadow he had hit was unscathed and attacking him again. This shocked Lu Zishan, and there was a trace of confusion in his eyes. He is confident that even a Shantian realm warrior will be affected by his palm, and it shouldn't be like this. When the black figure stepped forward, he saw the situation clearly. The black shadow he hit had a huge palm print on his chest. This palm print penetrated the black shadow's body, and he could even see the wall behind the body. Wait, why a wall? Only then did he notice that there was no flesh and blood on the chest of the black shadow whose armor he had penetrated. When Lu Zishan looked up at the black shadow's cheek, he saw the empty eye sockets. Lu Zishan looked confused. He finally understood why there was an inexplicable sound of panic among the people just now. At this time, he couldn't help but have a thought in his mind. What the hell is this? At this moment, Lu Zishan lost his mind. Then his consciousness sank into darkness forever. Under the attack of many living souls, within a short time, the Lu family was completely lifeless. Clan leader, everything has been resolved. Chen Chengming nodded after hearing the report from his tribe. These remaining Lu family warriors are in very poor condition, not to mention that their current state is so scary that even a person would be scared to see them, so it is reasonable to take them down easily in a short time. After the armor covered their bodies, they gave them the ability to contact entities, and Chen Chengming also discovered the gap. As his soul is rich, the color of his armor is darker and his defense is stronger. Although in terms of strength, it is still not as good as before his death. But you can also use some combat skills you had during your lifetime, but the energy and blood that stimulates the combat skills becomes soul power, and the effect is not as good as before. But the corresponding benefit is that they can move faster now, and without bodies, they can even fly in the air. In addition, after being attacked by the warrior's energy and blood, their armor will be broken, and their own souls will be affected accordingly. This means that they will also be injured, but the way they are injured is different from ordinary people. However, after being injured, their combat power will not be greatly affected unless the armor is completely broken. Just thinking about it for a moment, Chen Chengming could already feel the help this armor could bring to his family. If the family can have such a team of brave and fearless clansmen, perhaps this will become the family's biggest trump card. But then Chen Chengming noticed the details on everyone. The armor, which was originally black, gradually began to fade after they finished killing the remaining members of the Lu family. Obviously, this armor does not exist permanently, but will disappear with the passage of time. All this is due to the power of the family's sacred tree. He had also prayed to the sacred tree before, but the sacred tree did not take action at that time. Instead, it only sent down such divine power at the end. It can be seen that this armor consumes a lot of the family's sacred tree. However, this move still made many tribesmen extremely excited. Okay, let's leave it to the rest of the family. Let's retreat first. Chen Chengming greeted the tribesmen to leave without staying too much. The color of the armor on their bodies is getting lighter and lighter, and they can't do anything else. Just after Chen Chengming and others left, Chen Xingzhen also rushed outside the Lu family with his clan members. Seeing that there was no sound coming from the Lu family, Chen Xingzhen was still quite cautious and prepared to check first. Clan leader, he's dead, he's all dead. Listening to the cheers from the tribesmen, Chen Xingzhen looked overjoyed. This must have been done by my father and the others. Walk into. The group of people immediately poured into the Lu family. After pushing open the door, what came into view was Lu Zishan and other remaining warriors who had escaped. It's just that at this moment, they have all turned into corpses, and their eyes are full of fear, and they don't know what kind of fright they received before they died. This made Chen Xingzhen even more certain. Although he also had some doubts, it was not too late to talk about this matter when he got back. Chen Xingzhen then carefully inspected the corpses, and after confirming that all the escaped Lu family warriors, including the rest of the Lu family, had been dealt with, the stone in his heart finally fell. After solving the Lu family, the natural blood spring can be regarded as saved. The future development of the family is bound to be unstoppable. Clan leader, over here, come and see. Soon, Chen Xingzhen, Chen Tianyu and others gathered in a courtyard. Clan leader, there is a lot of blood rice. Beside the courtyard, there were many cloth bags, and these bags were filled with blood rice. After seeing the blood rice, Chen Xingzhen smiled. With these blood rice, even if the few acres of farmland in the clan have no harvest this winter, it will not be a loss. However, Chen Xingzhen quickly turned his attention to the dilapidated bamboo forest in the courtyard. This is already the core area of the Lu family, so why would some green bamboos be planted? After a closer look, Chen Xingzhen quickly discovered the incense ash in front of the bamboo forest and the tarnished blood rice in the bamboo forest. This made Chen Xingzhen's pupils shrink slightly. If his guess is correct, this is probably the Lu family's family totem. It's just that this family totem doesn't seem to be as vibrant as his own sacred tree, and during this battle, he never saw the Lu family totem show its magical power. After confirming that there was no danger here, Chen Xingzhen waved his hand. Bring them all back. Sacrifice them to the sacred tree. As they are both totems, sacrificing to the sacred tree is naturally the best way. Later, Chen Xingzhen and others found other harvests in the Lu family, such as food other than blood rice, some domestic animals raised in captivity, and some training experiences of body tempering and blood coagulation realm warriors. These are for today's Chen family. All are useful things. The Lu family, which seems inconspicuous in the mass burial mountain, is richer than the Li family and his own family combined. It's hard not to be delighted. Considering the lack of manpower, Chen Xingzhen decided to send people to guard tonight and bring more tribesmen to collect them tomorrow. In the ancestral hall, Chen Changming and others have returned. After several people arrived at the family, the armor on their bodies completely faded and disappeared immediately. Chen Changming silently estimated how long the armor would last, and it was only about a quarter of an hour. But even a quarter of an hour is enough to change the family. Moreover, the sacred tree is just born. If we wait for the family sacred tree to grow, this time will definitely be lengthened. After returning to the ancestral hall, Chen Changming immediately paid his respects. Lord Shenshu, fellow clan member Chen Changming, fortunately lived up to his command and has eliminated all the remaining members of the Lu family. When Chen Changming and many other souls returned, Ji Yang had already predicted it. However, when Chen Changming said it himself, Ji Yang's heart finally fell. After solving the big threat of the Lu family, the development of the Chen family will go much smoother. However, when Ji Yang opened his attribute panel again and looked at his current vitality, he didn't seem so happy anymore. Name: Ji Yang. Race: Netherworld Locust Tree. Vitality: 25. Supernatural powers: Eye of Insight, Reversal of Pill Movement, Blind Eyes with a Leaf, Soul Condensation, Armor Covering, 1,000 miles away. Exercise: Lunar Eclipse, Gathering Yin. Combat Skill: Teizu Chengquan. Qi and Blood: 0 can be converted into vitality. Spiritual Power: 19. Deduction Points: 4. Cannot be deduced. Status: Absorbing Moonlight. Originally he had 218 points of vitality, plus 108 points of vitality, but now he only had 25 points of vitality left. Calculating, this battle consumed a total of 247 points of his vitality. Most of them are due to the magical power of reversing the elixir that consumes vitality and provides healing power to the tribe. There was no need to consume so much, but the warriors in the He clan were not strong enough, so they could only explode. In this way, the vitality consumed will be much more than usual treatment. Ji Yang did some calculations and found that compared with the magical power of Yi blinding eyes, the former was more cost-effective. But this does not mean that blinding one's eyes with a leaf has no effect. On the contrary, this magical power contributed a lot to the victory this time. If he hadn't used Yi Izanmu to enhance Chen Qingyu's strength to the innate realm, I'm afraid the family wouldn't have been able to survive. Apart from using the reversal pill, the one that consumes the most vitality is the magical power armor that I obtained before. Before the battle, Ji Yang had repeatedly thought about his own magical power and the strength of his family in his mind. Of course, Ji Yang had not forgotten the magical power of armor covering. However, Ji Yang was ranked last, because he was not sure how much strength these armored souls could exert and whether they could turn the tide for the family. If not, he can't waste his life force on this. The facts told Ji Yang that he was right. These soul bodies are not weak in strength and have a lot of vitality to consume, and the stronger the soul body is, the more vitality is required to cover the armor. For example, Chen Changming, who has the highest level among them, consumed 5 points of his life force after his soul body was covered with armor. For the other 20 or so people, the life force consumed by armor covering was between 2 and 4 points. After being covered with armor, Chen Changming was probably in the late stage of blood coagulation realm. But after all, he has no body and is not as good as a real warrior. If he fights against a late-stage blood coagulation realm warrior who is in excellent condition, Chen Changming is probably no match for him. Qi, blood and yin energy restrain each other, and the power of qi and blood in a warrior's body can circulate along with the skills, endlessly. Chen Changming and other soul bodies were unable to absorb enough yin qi during the battle. Although it is invincible at the same level, the soul body also has the advantage of not being restricted by terrain and not afraid of ordinary injuries. It can be said that each has its own advantages and disadvantages. So until the overall situation was decided, Ji Yong asked them to deal with the remaining warriors of the Lu family. However, there is another advantage to these soul bodies, that is, they can continue to become stronger, instead of being limited by their current state. Although the life force consumed by covering the armor will definitely be more when the time comes, it is not worth mentioning compared with the corresponding benefits. Under these two magical powers, the vitality consumed by Yi blinding and Ji Yang's strengthening of new roots is not too much. The massive loss of vitality caused Ji Yang's condition to plummet. Although there were no obvious changes in the roots and branches and leaves, Ji Yang's consciousness shrank a lot, and the locust leaves on the branches also looked lifeless. This feeling was like his original vision was still 5.0, but he was blind the next day. But in general, the ending is always good. After the Lu family was gone, all the resources near Mass Burial Mountain now belonged to the Chen family, and no one was snatching them away, including a lot of fertile land that could grow bleeding rice. And he, as the sacred tree of the Chen family, thought he would be able to live a good life. At least there is no need to worry that the Chen family is on the verge of extinction. As long as you give him enough time, the lost vitality will be replenished sooner or later. Calculated in this way, these vitality are not lost, but very profitable. Outside the ancestral hall, many tribesmen have begun to deal with the aftermath and repair their houses. The house slaves who were hiding in a safe place were already busy, but when they saw the corpses on the ground, they couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts, but the expressions on their faces became more respectful. Of course they know what the battle tonight represents. It means that in the future Mass Burial Mountain, there will only be one Chen family. The words of the Chen family are the iron law of Mass Burial Mountain. And as the family's power expands, their slaves will inevitably have better prospects. Moreover, after the war, I think there may not be enough manpower in the clan. Maybe they will have a chance to be entrusted with important tasks and their status will rise further. Many domestic slaves understand this truth, so they work harder. However, when they were collecting the corpses, they were surprised to find that in the previous fierce battle, they did not see the corpses of several Chen family members. While this surprised them, there was also a trace of joy in their eyes. Fortunately, they entered the Chen family and not the Lu family. It was not until dawn that the Chen family returned to its usual freshness and cleanliness, but the smell of blood in the air was still strong. Every clan member who survived looked dazed, as if the battle last night was just a dream. It's not their fault, the battle last night was really too outrageous. A tribesman touched his heart and felt it was still beating, and then he felt relieved. It turned out to be no illusion. However, when they saw the many corpses being carried away, a trace of sadness appeared on their faces. They were members of the tribe who died in the battle, and they were part of the family. One tribesman looked slightly excited, his eyes gradually turning red, ready to express the suppressed emotions in his heart. Cousin, there was a mistake. These corpses belong to Lu family warriors. Where are the corpses of the tribesmen? Upon seeing this, another tribesman hurriedly explained, which made the more excited tribesman touch the bridge of his nose in embarrassment, and then turned around to look. Ah, just a few. After he finished speaking, he quickly realized that he had said the wrong thing. Just because there are indeed many fewer bodies over there, only 3. And he remembered that one of the tribesmen with the corpse seemed to have died because he was too excited last night and accidentally blew out his heart. The other 2 people died because they were accidentally hit on important parts of their bodies. Otherwise, under so many green light spots, even a person with disabled legs would be able to get up and run for 2 steps. Cousin, don't be sad. These tribesmen will come to see us in their dreams in a few days. As soon as these words came out, other tribesmen who were still a little sad suddenly understood. Yes, he is just dead, not really dead. There is still a sacred tree in the family. Many tribesmen who have thought clearly are no longer sad, but are happy to see the good family. As for the 3 corpses on the ground, let's put them here first and see what the clan leader says. It's just that the 3 dead tribesmen are only in the body tempering stage, so their corpses may not be able to be sacrificed to become the guardians of the family. What a pity. Before they die, their realm must reach the blood coagulation realm, or higher. Otherwise, how can we honor our ancestors? Many tribesmen thought silently in their hearts. It was not until the afternoon that the tribesmen who were sent out rushed back to the family. It's just that at this moment, they all have a lot of trophies from this trip in their hands. In the family hall, Chen Tianjing and other key family members were already present. Patriarch, we have evacuated everything belonging to the Lu family, only the eaves are left. According to clan statistics, this time we harvested a total of 1,500 kilograms of blood rice, 4,000 kilograms of ordinary grain, and raised more than 10 spirit-tailed chickens. After hearing Chen Tianjing's report, Chen Xingzhen felt happy. This time it can be said to be a great victory. The most important thing is that the scourge of the Lu family has been completely solved. Since then, the mass burial mountain family has become the dominant family, and at the same time, the natural blood spring has been preserved. This is the family's biggest gain. Clan leader, we also found a secret room in the Lu family. These things were all found in the secret room. Looking at the several ancient books in Chen Tianjing's hands, Chen Xingzhen also became interested, and then he took an ancient book into his hands and started reading. The moon is as bright as frost. After seeing the name in the ancient book, Chen Xingzhen's eyes lit up and he immediately started reading. When Chen Xingzhen finished reading, the joy on his face became even more intense. This is clearly the family combat skill used by Lu Zixin and others before, and it is also a mid-level Zon-level combat skill. However, Zon-level combat skills have relatively high requirements for warriors. At least they need to be mastered by blood coagulation realm warriors. If you want to be proficient, you need to be in the innate realm. If you want to achieve great success, you need to reach the inner gang realm. As mentioned before, Y-gang can only be accompanied by the bright moon, but now it has been slightly changed. But its value cannot be underestimated, and it can even be used as a family combat skill and passed down from generation to generation. It's just that the level of warriors in the clan is not high enough now, and I'm afraid not many people can learn it, but Chen Xingzhen still placed it carefully. Then Chen Xingzhen checked the other two ancient books, which were still about combat skills, but only at the yellow class level. If it were before this, these yellow-level combat skills would definitely be a great improvement for the family, but after the resurrection of the elders in the clan, the family's demand for these two yellow-level combat skills is not so strong. But different combat skills have different focuses, and sometimes they vary from person to person. 2 more combat skills will also give the clansmen 2 more choices in choosing combat skills, which is also excellent. While Chen Xingzhen was flipping through the books, a piece of yellowed paper suddenly fell off the book. Chen Xingzhen looked surprised, but his hand speed was not slow and he grabbed the paper that had not yet landed on the ground. The text on this paper is not very standard, and it is still handwritten. However, after Chen Xingzhen carefully read the contents on the paper, there was a little surprise on his face. What is recorded on this paper is not anything else, but how to make blood rice strong when the natural blood spring is silent. This discovery made Chen Xingzhen look surprised. He originally thought that the secret method Lu Zixin mentioned before was just to deceive him, but he didn't expect that it was actually true. According to the record on the paper, just add the blood of ferocious beasts, mix it with water, and water it next to the blood rice plants every day to speed up the growth of blood rice. Chen Xingzhen didn't know whether this method was true or false. But I think this paper is sandwiched among these ancient books, so it shouldn't be fake. Furthermore, even if it is fake, the family's loss will not be big. Anyway, according to the current weather, this crop of blood rice will not produce blood rice anyway. Tianyu, take a few tribesmen with you tomorrow to try this method. Good. Chen Tianyu took the paper and looked surprised when he saw the content on it, and then nodded. After checking the harvest, Chen Xingzhen's face became more solemn. Then he looked at Chen Tianlu and asked, "How many members of the clan have been lost this time?" Several other people also had solemn expressions after hearing this. They were too busy today and did not notice this, but they saw quite a few corpses after returning home. Thinking about it, I am afraid that many warriors in the clan have been lost this time. Clan leader Wei, we lost 3 clan members this time. They are Chen Tianmo, Chen Qingjing. Hey, although it was a great victory, I didn't expect that so many clan members were lost. After hearing Chen Tianlu's report, Chen Xingzhen felt sad. But after he heard it clearly, a little surprise appeared in his eyes. How many? Just 3 people. Well, Just 3 people. Chen Xingzhen's face was no longer sad when he confirmed the result. There were only 3 people. This result was far beyond his expectation. In a family war, there are no immortals. Only 3 people were injured, which was entirely due to the power of the sacred tree. Moreover, the 3 dead people could bear fruit under the power of the sacred tree and go to their father's side. Rounding up, it means that no one in the family has died. Very good. Thinking of the sacred tree, Chen Xingzhen felt regretful. He was so busy after the war that he almost forgot to worship the sacred tree, so he hurriedly greeted everyone present. Quickly, go prepare the sacrifices. This time we will hold a big sacrifice for 7 days. Don't forget to take those green bamboos with you. In the ancestral hall, Ji Yangjung was looking forward to it, but he waited left and right, but no clan members came in. He could only hear the busy people in the clan. As the person who contributed the most to this family war, he is now being ignored. Ji Yang sighed in his heart that the world was declining and people's hearts were not as old as before. Just as Ji Yang was sighing, many tribesmen outside had prepared sacrifices and were walking towards the ancestral hall. Some domestic slaves who were busy were also stopped. This made many domestic slaves puzzled. What were they planning to do with such a large formation? They had never seen a battle, nor had they seen the family sacred tree, so they were naturally confused at this moment. However, when everyone saw many clansmen with solemn expressions walking towards the ancestral hall, they also followed the clansmen and prepared to go and take a look. Chen Xingzhen did not stop it. There was no need to hide the fact that the family had a sacred tree, even if it was known to outsiders. After all, there is only one Chen family in this mass burial mountain, and the promotion of the sacred tree can also increase the cohesion of the clan members. As a family totem, he should be worshipped by everyone. The grand sacrificial ceremony began soon. Ji Yang had no idea about this complicated ceremony and just looked at the sacrifice. After watching, Ji Yang nodded slightly. It's not bad. Among them are 2 ferocious beasts in the blood coagulation realm, 5 spiritual chickens, and 3 black gold beasts in the body tempering realm, most of which were obtained from the Lu family. And when Ji Yang saw a few green bamboos mixed in the sacrifice, he couldn't help but have doubts in his heart. He eats meat, not vegetarian, and these green bamboos are not fresh at all. What does it mean to sacrifice a few dying bamboos? However, as Ji Yang gathered his consciousness and observed carefully, he soon noticed differences in these green bamboos. These green bamboos seemed to be particularly spiritual. There was a spirit. Ji Yang's heart suddenly brightened, and he thought of the totem of the Lu family. Now it seems that this is probably it. It's just that this totem doesn't look energetic, as if he had just traveled through time and turned into a tree. In this way, the purpose of the Lu family's request for the natural blood spring is very simple. Fortunately, the Lu family totem looks like this, otherwise the outcome of this family war is still unknown. The ceremony is over. Sacrifice. After a tedious ceremony, Ji Yang soon came to his favorite part. Considering that the divine tree had lost too much power after the war, Chen Xingzhen sacrificed those ferocious beasts first, and put the seemingly extraordinary green bamboo at the end. This move was quite safe, but Ji Yang didn't care. As the sacrifice began, Ji Yang's energy and blood also began to increase rapidly. After the last ferocious beast was sacrificed, Ji Yang's energy and blood had reached 60 points, and his spiritual power had also increased by 6 points. Ji Yang did not save these 60 points of energy and blood, but directly converted them into 30 points of vitality. Although compared with the loss of vitality, these 30 points are not much, but with the rapid increase in vitality, Ji Yang's condition has improved a lot, and his consciousness has also recovered somewhat. Finally, Ji Yang looked at the green bamboos that were not very bright in color. Logically speaking, there should be only one totem as the Lu family's totem, but now there are 4 or 5. Chen Xingzhen was not in a hurry to offer sacrifices, but first explained the origin of Qingzu to Ji Yang. When Ji Yang did not respond, he began to offer sacrifices. When the tribesmen placed the green bamboos on the soil for sacrifice, they saw that the green bamboo roots quickly began to take root, and the color of the green bamboos gradually turned green, which was a sign of resurrection. The tribesmen present looked surprised and suspicious, and couldn't help but take a few steps back. Chen Xingzhen also looked at the scene in front of him nervously, always ready to switch from automatic to manual. If he found something wrong, he would immediately destroy the green bamboo. However, seeing that the sacred tree had not yet given clear instructions, he did not act rashly. At this moment, he was sure that this must be the totem of the Lu family. Ji Yang didn't hesitate when he saw this, and hurriedly used the roots to entangle the roots of the green bamboo. This place belongs to him, how can he allow other totems to grow wantonly? At the moment when the roots below were entangled, a strange consciousness instantly connected with Ji Yang. This consciousness is in a trance, as if it is still sleeping, and the growth of green bamboo seems to be just its instinctive reaction. Ji Yang did not hesitate and directly used the roots to transfer his consciousness, instantly attacking Qingzu's consciousness. Feeling the invasion of foreign enemies, the sleeping consciousness reacted, and at the same time a weak conscious response came. Who is it? Dare to disturb my slumber? Ji Yang ignored it and directly used his powerful consciousness to forcefully crush him away. Qingzu, who sensed something was wrong, also recovered from his confusion, but after sleeping for a long time, he was no longer as strong as before. When Qingzu's consciousness revived, the green bamboo in the outside world also underwent great changes. Countless bamboo leaves grew wildly, and the faint fragrance lingered in the ancestral hall, making people feel relaxed and happy. Chen Xingzhen saw that something was wrong and was about to stop the growth of the green bamboo, but before Chen Xingzhen could raise his hand, the wildly growing green bamboo suddenly succumbed. The tender green bamboo gradually begins to lose color, and the newly grown bamboo leaves become withered. In Ji Yang's sight, the situation at this moment was also very different. After invading Qingzu's consciousness, Ji Yang directly wrapped it up and swallowed it with his consciousness. This is entirely from Ji Yang's instinctive reaction. Qingzu, who was wrapped in Ji Yang's consciousness, was also trying his best to resist and wanted to escape. But his struggle and resistance seemed extremely weak. Qingzu, who tried to no avail, began to convey a new consciousness. Please forgive me, sir. Qing Ling is willing to serve the Lord and help the family together. Ji Yang ignored Qingzu's plea for mercy. Luminous, one is enough. Seeing that begging for mercy was useless, Qingzu's consciousness began to fight back to death, and violent thoughts came again. I will never let you go even if I die. You can't even try to devour me. Under his fierce resistance, Qingzu's remaining consciousness exploded. Ji Yang was slightly startled and prepared to defend himself. Then he felt that the explosion was like a breeze blowing by, making people comfortable and heartwarming. Ji Yang was stunned for a moment, looking at the remaining fragments of consciousness and swallowing them one by one without wasting them. In the ancestral hall, Chen Xingzhen was always paying attention to the situation in front of him. But in just a few breaths, the green bamboo that had just been full of life turned completely black and fell to the side helplessly, like a fire stick. The scene just now was like a flash in the pan. Many tribesmen looked at this scene in confusion. They didn't know what happened and could only pray silently. After Chen Xingzhen saw this, his face returned to calmness and indifference again. Although I don't know what just happened, judging from the vibrant branches and leaves of the sacred tree, this is not a bad thing. After the sacrifice, Chen Xingzhen prayed again before leaving. During the sacred tree festival, as the leader of the clan, he should have been praying at all times, but there were a lot of affairs in the clan now, and I thought the sacred tree would not blame him. Many tribesmen also began to be busy. As for the sacrifice of the sacred tree, Chen Xingzhen left it to Chen Qingyu. After devouring the fragments of consciousness, Ji Yang now has some strange and broken memories in his mind. In his memory, he was a green bamboo growing in a bamboo forest, no different from ordinary green bamboos, but I don't know when he started to gradually gain consciousness and develop spiritual wisdom. Not long after, a human warrior found him, transplanted him to a new place, and worshipped him every day. After that, he got a new name, Qing Ling. It's just that those who worship him call him Lord Qingling. Time passed, and it didn't take long for him to become the totem of that family. He gradually became stronger, and the bamboo leaves on his body had special abilities. Ji Yang originally wanted to continue experiencing it, but then his memory was like countless flickering snowflakes, and he couldn't see the content clearly. When Ji Yang checked again, it was the last moment that Qingzu regained consciousness. In the picture, a person transplanted him into a courtyard, and Qingzu's consciousness completely fell into a deep sleep. The last person to be transplanted was surprisingly the current head of the Liu family, Liu Zishan. After the Liu family was completely defeated, the green bamboo actually split into several branches, but its body still only had one. I think this was Qingzu's last struggle, but unfortunately, Chen Xingzhen dug them all back. Ji Yang was thoughtful after reading the memory. It seemed that this was the origin of the Liu family's green bamboo totem. However, due to his broken consciousness and incomplete memory, he was unable to see how the Liu family declined. But I think there are only a few situations. What surprised Ji Yang was the Qingzu's ability. Its own bamboo leaves can make the warrior's understanding ability stronger. When used in daily life, the warrior's understanding of the realm can be increased and the combat skills can be understood clearly. Even the bright moon-like frost was created by a warrior from the Naigang realm who used bamboo leaves when the Liu family was in its heyday. When used in battle, the warrior can become clear-headed and rational, and can handle the battle situation with the optimal solution. This ability is like artificial intelligence and AI. This is Ji Yang's evaluation of his ability. Fortunately, Qingzu fell into a deep sleep and could no longer provide this ability to the Liu family. Otherwise, it is still unknown who will win and who will lose in this family war. It's no wonder that the Liu family wants a natural blood spring. If the green bamboo is revived, it will only be a matter of time before the Liu family rises. Unfortunately, after swallowing the green bamboo, Ji Yang did not gain the corresponding abilities. But Ji Yang has no regrets. His ability is above this green bamboo. What's more, I can't obtain new abilities through this method, and neither can the totems of other families. This way I will be safer. Otherwise, with the abilities he has shown now, he will not be coveted by other families. Ji Yang broke away from his memory and felt that his consciousness seemed to be much stronger after swallowing the green bamboo. But when Ji Yang looked at his attribute panel again, there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. Name: Ji Yang. Race: Netherworld Locust Tree. Vitality: 55. Supernatural powers: Eye of Insight, Reversal of Pill Movement, Blind Eyes with a Leaf, Soul Condensation, Armor Covering, 1,000 Miles Away. Exercise: Lunar Eclipse, Gathering Yin. Combat Skill: Teizu Chengquan. Qi and Blood: 66 can be converted into Vitality. Spiritual Power: 45. Deduction Points: 4, cannot be deduced. Status: some people are dead, but he is still alive. I saw that the energy and blood that was originally converted to 0, after swallowing the green bamboo, actually increased by 66 points. Compared with the energy and blood, the spiritual power has increased even more, directly reaching 45 points. In addition to the 5 points provided by the ferocious beast just absorbed and the 19 points previously, this means that this green bamboo has increased by a full 21 points of spiritual power. If there were a few more, there would be no need to sacrifice any ferocious beasts. Unfortunately, spiritual totems like this are not so easy to obtain. I'm afraid that in the entire mass burial mountain, the only one other than myself is this foreign green bamboo. In the long run, we will still have to rely on sacrificing ferocious beasts. Ji Yang still did not hesitate to convert all the extra energy and blood into vitality. At the moment, his deduction points are not enough. Besides, the blood will not be bad for the subsequent sacrifices. Restoring his own condition is what he should do now. Vitality is the key to one's own strength. Winter has arrived, and considering that the family is no longer in great crisis and has become stable, Ji Yang decides to be more generous. The next moment, Chi-Chi Chisato's magical power also turned into floor heating, causing the ground temperature to rise rapidly. In the family, many slaves who had just participated in the Sacred Tree Festival were talking about it. Although they were not qualified to enter the Ancestral Hall, outside the Ancestral Hall, through the crack in the door, they could glimpse a bit of the scene inside. The fragrance coming from the tip of their noses surprised them even more, thinking that it was the oracle they received after praying. It's just a pity that as domestic slaves, they don't seem to be able to get the gifts from the sacred tree. Just when everyone was about to continue working, the heat coming from the ground surprised several people. It was already early December, and although the heavy snow had not yet arrived, the temperature was getting colder day by day. In a few days, the clothes on their bodies would not be enough to completely shield them from the cold. But fortunately, they were in the Chen family, so they didn't have to worry about freezing to death. But now the heat coming from the soles of their feet made them feel like they were still in June, and even the clothes on their bodies seemed a little heavier. Several people even suspected that this was their imagination. Because they have heard that when a person is frozen to death, he will not feel the cold, but will only feel that his body is getting hotter and hotter, and he wants to take off all his clothes. This unusual situation made several people panic and wanted to find a tribesman to ask. But when several people turned their heads, they saw that the Chen family members were very happy and began to pray one after another, saying thanks to the sacred tree. After the last big sacrifice, the sacred tree showed its magical power and healed the injuries of the clan members. It is not strange for the sacred tree to show its power again during this grand ceremony. Some clan members took off their heavier clothes directly for convenience. However, when they left a certain area of the family, they found that the temperature gradually dropped. It seemed that the power of the sacred tree was only for the Fuse family. Chen Xingzhen, who was busy with various things, was overjoyed when he heard the report from his clansmen. If the family can maintain the current temperature, there will be no other worries for the family this winter. 2 days later, good news came from Lingtian. After using the new secret method, the blood rice that had stopped growing in the spiritual field began to grow again. In a few days, this crop of blood rice will be harvested. Chen Xingzhen had a smile on his face when he heard the news. Although after confiscating 1,500 kilograms of blood rice from the Liu family, there is no shortage of blood rice in the family for the time being, but no family would have too much of something that can allow warriors to temper their bodies. Moreover, there are about 20 warriors in the clan now. A body-tempering warrior can eat 1 kilogram of blood rice every day. 1,500 kilograms of blood rice is only enough for the warriors in the clan to eat for 2 months. This is still based on the premise that the number of warriors is not large. But Chen Xingzhen is not thinking about this issue now. He discussed with his father in his dream 2 nights ago and confirmed that the final destruction of the Liu family was due to the divine tree's intervention. Chen Changming explained it to him in his dream. But what he discussed more with his father was the future development of the family. Now that the family is stable and has no rivals in the burial mountain, they can try to convert the entire burial mountain into the family's territory, instead of being limited to 1/3 of an acre of the Chen family as before. In addition, there is the problem of natural blood springs. Although the natural blood springs are within the Chen family, there are many tributaries of the blood springs, resulting in the scattered spiritual fields where blood rice can be grown. The family can take the initiative to control the tributaries of the blood spring and plan the fertile fields independently, so that the blood rice can be planted and harvested conveniently. But this will have to wait until after winter. The biggest problem plaguing the family now is the number of clan members. According to what his father said, the family members are now sparse, and there have been successive wars in recent months. Although there are not many casualties, the losses are not small for the already small family. Although goals were set before, they were not fully implemented. At present, the family's focus should be on this issue. Chen Xingzhen also strongly agrees with this. There are indeed too few people in the family. But there is no other way. The previous struggle with the Li family reduced most of the already small clan members, and then they were even more busy hunting to survive the winter. As a result, there are now many people of the right age in the clan who are not yet married. Naturally, the marriage candidates for the warriors in the clan have to be selected from the many small villages near the mass burial mountain. Chapter 91. Although the number of people in these small villages is small, when gathered together, the number of people is more than 10 times or even dozens of times greater than that of the Chen family. Although the Chen family is now the dominant family, no one dares to resist if they insist on one thing. However, Chen Xingzhen felt that the family should plan carefully if it was established on a mass burial mountain. This approach of raking in all the water and losing the support of the people was not appropriate. And with the current strength of the family, it can completely rely on its strength to attract some villagers who want to join the family. But before that, the family's reputation still needs to be built up. For this, Chen Xingzhen already has a corresponding plan in mind. On the second day, many villagers gathered at the Chenjia market, which seemed quite lively. All kinds of hawking sounds also come and go. Pine, good quality rice, 1 pound of meat for 3 pounds of rice. Fresh venison in exchange for 5 pairs of straw sandals. Iron tools are only exchanged for animal skins. On weekdays, there would certainly not be so many villagers exchanging here. However, winter has arrived and the fields are frozen, making it impossible to plant. As for hunting, even less so. Even warriors would not easily set foot in today's mass burial mountain, let alone ordinary people who only hunt some ordinary beasts on weekdays. This time is often when the market is most lively. Many villagers will choose to exchange their unused or extra items for their own needs, so as to make this winter more comfortable. Unfortunately, you can only exchange things for things here, and many times, the villagers may not get what they need. But they have lived here for a long time and have become accustomed to this. They don't think there is anything wrong with it. However, it still makes people feel regretful that they did not get it. But there is not much time left for them to exchange. If in a few days, heavy snow falls and the roads leading to the market from nearby villages are closed, then the market here will gradually close. Hey, isn't that Yehu? I heard that he recently became a slave of the Chen family and is living a good life. You do not say. Isn't Tian Meng going to be a slave? Why haven't I seen him in the past few days? A smile appeared on Yehu's face as he listened to the crowd's comments. No, his name is Chen Yehu now. And now he has indeed changed a lot compared to the person he was a month ago. Even the clothes on his body are made of fine furs, and there is no need to worry about not having enough to eat. Behind him, there were 2 domestic slaves who were 1 level lower than him. Facing the envy of many villagers in the market, Yehu couldn't help but raise his head slightly, with a trace of family glory rising on his face. However, after thinking about the mission handed down from the clan this time, Yehu's face became more serious. This is the first task assigned by the clan after he became a slave. He must complete it well and try to make the clan leader see it in his eyes and remember it in his heart. Dear fellow citizens, I, Chen Yehu, on behalf of the Chen family, would like to announce 2 things to you. After hearing this, everyone began to gather around him with curious expressions on their faces. Although there are many villagers who feel that being a domestic slave is not worthy of being on the stage, Chen Yehu looks good both in his clothes and in his mental state. He is living a better life than them. This makes them feel envious. They also want to hear what Chen Yehu has to say at this moment. What? Seeing that everyone was looking at him, Chen Yehu spoke. The first thing is that Chen Xingzhen, the patriarch of the Chen family, personally announced that starting from today, the market will be open to everyone free of charge. This winter, the Chen family will not charge you any more down payment. Many villagers were overjoyed when they heard this. Although the initial money was not much, it was a lot for them. If they could not pay it, it would definitely be great. This was really a matter of everyone's interests thing. The second thing is that considering the difficult living conditions of the villagers around Mass Burial Mountain, the head of my family decided to distribute 2 kilograms of rice to each person in each village. Many villagers who heard this were surprised and couldn't believe it for a while, and there was no sound of joy from the crowd. Yehu, is this true or false? You didn't lie to us, did you? An old man with a slightly rickety figure asked dubiously. Master Chang, everything I said is true. If you don't believe it, you can go to the family and ask. In about a few days, the rice will be delivered. Chen Yehu swears by it, but many villagers still have doubts on their faces. After all, the other 2 major families have never done this kind of thing before. The first payment has been waived once or twice, but it is rare. Seeing that everyone still didn't believe it, Chen Yehu didn't explain much. After a few days, they would naturally believe it. Chen Yehu then started chatting with many villagers, and informed everyone of the demise of the Liu family, and reassured them that now that the Chen family is in charge of Mass Burial Mountain, life will definitely be better than before. News about the Mass Burial Mountain was already closed, and the Liu family's demise only took 2 days, but some rumors spread. After it was confirmed, the villagers present had different expressions. They don't care about the fighting between families, they only care about the impact it will have on the village and themselves. After completing the task assigned by the clan leader, Chen Yehu rushed back to the clan with the 2 people behind him. Brother Yehu, what's the point of your family doing this? Why do you want to distribute rice to all the nearby villagers? That's right, with so many villages, how much rice will be used? If this were given to my family, it would be enough to feed my family for several years. Chen Yihu stopped and looked at the two people behind him solemnly. Don't talk nonsense. Have you forgotten the third rule of the house slave rules? As a house slave, you are not allowed to talk about the affairs of the clan. If you don't want to be a slave, don't hurt me. After hearing this, the expressions of the two people also changed. They have no skills and only know how to farm. If they cannot be slaves, they will starve to death this winter. After reprimanding the two of them, Chen Yihu was equally confused. He didn't quite understand why the clan did such a thankless thing. However, he understands very well that you should not ask too much about things you shouldn't ask, and don't think too much about things you shouldn't think about. There must be a meaning to what the family does. What he should do now is to fulfill the patriarch's order and strive to become a warrior with the help of his family. This was also the thought that suddenly popped into his mind after he was chosen to be the leader of the domestic slaves. Compared to other domestic slaves, he didn't have much advantage, but he was pretty lucky. But luck cannot last. Only by working hard and continuing to make progress can you make your life better. He still needs to improve. Patriarch, we are just some villagers. Do we need to waste so much food? In the family hall, Chen Tianjing asked curiously, while Chen Tianlu and others on the side were also a little puzzled. Of course, after the loss of the Li family and the Lu family, the family territory has expanded a lot. With so much land, even if it is not to grow blood rice, it will take a lot of manpower to grow ordinary rice. How will the family develop in the long run? Next year, we can lease the land to the villagers and let them plant it on their behalf. With the relationship we have now, I think many people will be willing to give them more rice. But in this case, wouldn't the clan lose a lot of food? Chen Xingzhen shook his head slightly. What supports a family is its warriors. No matter how much ordinary grain rice is, it is useless. Only blood rice is the most important resource for the family. But even the blood rice will be planted by domestic slaves next year, so that more tribesmen can have time to temper their bodies. Although the Lu family is gone now, there is no guarantee that another Lu family will appear in Mass Burial Mountain. Family, please prepare for a rainy day. Below, several people also fell into deep thought after listening. Chen Xingzhen had already expected the reactions of several people. After living behind the Mass Burial Mountain for a long time, the eyes of the clan members would only see the Mass Burial Mountain, just like him back then. Even the blood coagulation realm warriors in the family were like this, not to mention the rest of the family. If it were him before, he would probably be satisfied with this. However, under his father's prompting, he took a longer view. Therefore, he also wants to transmit this idea to every tribesman and change the ideas in the hearts of the tribesmen. The family has sacred trees and blood rice. The development of the family should not be limited to Mass Burial Mountain, but should look further afield. But with the family's current strength, this is far from enough. In addition to his own side, his father also took corresponding actions. I think in the dream, there are probably many clan members who need to be nurtured by the elders of the clan. In addition to the lack of manpower, Chen Xingzhen naturally had other ideas in mind. If we don't establish good relations with these villages, where will the marriage partners of the young people of the right age come from? The future domestic slaves will naturally have to be selected from these villagers. When the interests of the family are bound to the interests of the village, this will make the family's future path smoother. Chen Xingzhen looked ahead, unable to see clearly what the future of his family would look like for a while, but he could see that the road ahead was getting brighter and brighter. At night, the moonlight is bright. The inconspicuous locust tree in the ancestral hall once again bloomed with light fluorescence on its branches and leaves. The family festival has not yet stopped, and Ji Yang's vitality will increase to a certain extent every day. In just 2 days, Ji Yang's vitality has once again exceeded 100 points. In addition, he absorbs the moonlight every night, so it won't take long to return to his previous state. Clan member Chen Qinghe has broken through to the middle stage of the body-quenching realm, and his deduction points +1. A new prompt appeared in front of Ji Yang, which surprised Ji Yang. He didn't expect that Chen Qinghe could break through the middle stage of the body-quenching realm so quickly. It was indeed beyond his expectation. Although the deduction points have not increased much, it means that the stagnant Chen family has continued to develop. In the past 2 days, Chen Xingzhen's plans have also been noticed by Ji Yang. Of course, most of the plans have Chen Chengming's suggestions. Fortunately, there is this previous patriarch who has passed away, otherwise the family's development may still have many shortcomings. But now, there is no need for Ji Yang to intervene. The key is that he doesn't know how to develop his family. Even if his consciousness is a little advanced, this world has the rules of this world, and his experience may not be suitable for today's Chen family. It is better to strengthen yourself and become a good family sacred tree. Under the moonlight, the yin qi is also more intense than during the day, gathering under the attraction of Jiang's tree trunks. In addition to the gathering yin qi, there are also many souls who look confused. After seeing the living soul, Ji Yang remembered that there seemed to be some casualties in the clan this time, but he was immersed in absorbing the moonlight yesterday and forgot about it. Most of the living souls that were attracted were the living souls of the Lu family's deceased warriors. Ji Yang was unable to transform these living souls, and was not prepared to transform them. He directly used the power of consciousness to crush them, and then absorb them, turning them into nutrients for the cultivation of many soul bodies under the shade of the tree. After all the living souls of the Lu family were dealt with, there were only 3 people left. These 3 people are the warriors who died in this family battle. No, not 3, but 2. As for one of them, the heart of his soul body is slightly weak. Obviously, this is the tribesman who was too excited and opened the 5th internal organs. Thinking that the family's number of warriors and living souls was small, Ji Yang had no choice but to transform. After using the soul-condensing magical power, 3 more fruits appeared on the branches and leaves of the locust tree. The fruit is not big and it still takes 7 days to grow. After doing all this, Ji Yang turned into a locust tree again and stood quietly in the ancestral hall. 3 days later, the clan had a harvest of blood rice. This time, the family planted a total of 4 acres of fertile land. Each mu of fertile land produced an average of 700 kilograms of blood rice, and the rice yield rate was 70%. This means that 1 mu of fertile land can eventually produce about 500 kilograms of blood rice. 4 acres of land, about 2,000 pounds. But if the tributaries of the natural blood spring are planned next year, coupled with the newly obtained Lujialing field, the blood rice harvest will definitely increase exponentially. Although the quantity is still not too much, this blood rice can be planted 3 times a year, which can fully meet the needs of the warriors in the clan, and there is still a lot left over. When they learned about the harvest of blood rice, all the clan members were excited. Especially when the tribesmen watched many blood rice being packed into bags, and each bag filled the tribe's barn, the smiles on their faces came from the bottom of their hearts. Even though there are a lot of people in the tribe, it takes them 2 full days to harvest the blood rice and produce the blood rice again. You want to go hunting in the mountains. In the family ancestral hall, Chen Xingzhen, who had finished worshipping the sacred tree, looked at Chen Qingyu who had just said this with a trace of surprise on his face. Well, I feel like the energy and blood in my body are stagnant recently and I can't go any further. I want to give it a try. After hearing what Chen Qingyu said, Chen Xingzhen did not rush to agree, with a trace of hesitation in his eyes. Nowadays, the weather is getting colder. Although the mountain has not been closed due to heavy snow, the weather in Mass Burial Mountain is unpredictable. It is very likely that it has happened in the past few days. It is too risky to go hunting in the mountains at this time. Moreover, Chen Qingyu is now the treasured seed in the family. Chen Xingzhen also places high hopes on him to be the first in the family to be promoted to the Shantian realm warrior. In fact, not only Chen Xingzhen, but other tribesmen also felt the same way. It was precisely because of this that Chen Xingzhen hesitated. The most important thing is that when Chen Qingyu goes hunting in the mountains, he will definitely not just be outside, but will probably go deep into the Mass Burial Mountain, where he will run the risk of encountering the Green Wolf. Although Chen Qingyu was able to defeat Lu Shengrong, a Shantian realm warrior, last time, it was outside the ancestral hall with the blessing of the divine tree and countless green light spots. The Shantian realm Green Wolf, a ferocious beast that lives in groups, is no weaker than Lu Shengrong alone in the Mass Burial Mountain, and is even more dangerous. In this case, how can he rest assured? Moreover, Chen Qingyu is planning to go into the mountains alone, so the risk is even greater. But looking at Chen Qingyu's unwavering eyes, Chen Xingzhen understood. This kid, if he objects, he will probably choose to go into the mountains, and he can't stop him. Under the shade of the trees, several invisible souls were also communicating. Tian Shun, this child is a bit like you. Hearing Chen Chengming's words, Chen Tianshan showed a helpless smile. But he did not speak out against it, but supported it. Breaking through the Shantian realm is not that simple. The first is the need to achieve great success in the blood coagulation realm. Now Chen Qingyu is very close to this step, but has not yet reached the state where qi and blood are like mercury. This time, I am afraid that I also want to use the training in life and death battles to reach the realm of blood coagulation. It's just that although this method is possible, it is too dangerous. As a father, although he was worried, he understood Chen Qingyu's stubbornness better. This is stubbornness, and it is also an indispensable desire for martial artists to practice martial arts. How could he stop it? The most important thing is that he can't stop it now. Everything depends on the thoughts of the patriarch Chen Xingzhen. Although he didn't know that Chen Chengming and others were watching him, Chen Xingzhen was indeed very hesitant at this moment. He was really worried about Chen Qingyu going into the mountains alone. Is there a way to prevent it? Chen Xingzhen thought about it, and when he saw the sacred tree, he had an idea in his mind, and then he said, "Let's do this. You pray to the sacred tree. If the sacred tree responds, I will let you enter the mountain." Huh, what does it have to do with me? Ji Yang, who was silently observing this scene, was speechless, but he also saw what Chen Xingzhen was thinking. Innate level ferocious beasts were indeed dangerous. For the sake of love and peace, naturally Chen Qingyu cannot be allowed to enter the mountain alone. Actually, Qingyu's entry into the mountain this time is not just for a breakthrough. There are not many ferocious beasts in the clan. I plan to hunt a few back and sacrifice them to the sacred tree. Before Chen Qingyu finished speaking, a light suddenly lit up among the branches and leaves of the sacred tree, and a brand new and green locust leaf slowly fell down. Looking at Chen Qingyu with a sincere expression, Ji Yang sighed in his heart. No matter how hard it is, it cannot be hard on the children. If you have a strong desire to practice martial arts, you should support it. Anyone who has a dream is great. Qingyu thanks the sacred tree. Chen Qingyu, who took the locust leaf, saluted, and Chen Xingzhen, Chen Tianshan, who was a living soul, and others on the side also bowed. Since the sacred trees support it, I have nothing to say. After paying homage, Chen Xingzhen said with a smile on his face, seemingly no longer hesitating just now. Chen Xingzhen's performance also stunned Ji Yang a little. Did this old boy have this idea from the beginning? He obviously wanted his protection, but he didn't say it outright. Ji Yang felt that he was at a disadvantage. But there was no big reaction in my heart. The family is no longer in crisis, and the patriarch, who is under great pressure from the family, seems to have changed a little, but for the better. Although the sacred tree provides protection, you must remember not to find the innate green wolf. Qingyu must remember this. Chen Qingyu left, not long after getting the locust leaves, but this did not have much impact on the family. After many tribesmen were freed from the work of harvesting blood rice, the family's main focus has been to deliver rice to villagers in nearby villages. 2 kilograms of rice per household in each village, although not much, represents the kindness of the Chen family. Moreover, the workload is not simple. The villages around the burial mountain are scattered and far apart. Even if it is only 2 kilograms of rice, it can accumulate to a huge number. For this reason, the family has sent out all the clansmen who can mobilize, leaving only a small number of warriors in the clan. Worried about encountering ferocious beasts along the way, the clan members were divided into groups of 2 to ensure the safety of the clan members. But as long as he doesn't die outside and returns to the family alive, it's not a big problem. And things went extremely smoothly. Many villagers who received the rice had a look of surprise. It was not until they saw the Chen family members walking away that they realized what they were doing and touched the 2 kilograms of rice in a somewhat unrealistic manner. A trace of gratitude emerged on his face. 2 kilograms of rice can give many poor villagers a glimmer of hope to survive this cold winter. Sending rice is not a thankless task. When sending rice, Chen Xingzhen had already asked each tribe to record the nearby villages and how many households there were in the village. This is to facilitate the control of all villages in Mass Burial Mountain. Secondly, most of the tribesmen sent out by Chen Xingzhen were unmarried. He did not believe that among such a huge number, the tribesmen could not find a few partners they liked. As long as they fall in love with each other, it will be a good start. In the family, two figures were hiding behind a house, watching the surrounding situation carefully. At this time, Chen Qingmeng suddenly said, "Qinghe, do we really want to do this? What if the clan leader and your mother find out?" Chen Qinghe was stunned after hearing this. Why did he feel that these words were familiar and wrong? Oh, he remembered that his father had not been in the clan recently and had gone out. "What are you afraid of? The patriarch is in the ancestral hall, and my mother is busy making clothes. I seem to have heard from the patriarch that new clothes should be engraved with family totems, so they can't be found. Just follow me. By the way, have you packed everything?" "Well, healing medicine, a kettle, and this." Chen Qing turned around and revealed the machete behind him. Although the blade was much worn and no longer sharp, it was still wrapped in several layers of thick cloth. "That's good. I went to the sacred tree last night and secretly picked a locust leaf. It should be useful. Let's go." The heavily armed two people looked around and soon arrived at the door of the family. But just when the two were about to step out of the family gate, a figure suddenly appeared in front of the two of them. The huge shadow directly enveloped the two of them, and a hint of coldness was refreshing. "Qinghe, where are you going?" The speaker was a woman in her 30s with beautiful facial features. She was quite tall in the middle stage of body tempering. Her increasing age and the wind and snow in the Mass Burial Mountain gave her an inconspicuous wrinkle at the end of her eyes, but she still couldn't hide her youthful beauty. The question seemed gentle, but there was a hint of frost in the woman's eyes. The two people who heard this familiar voice couldn't help but tense up. Chen Qinghe slowly raised his head, looked at the smiling woman in front of him, and said with a slight stutter, "Mom, the patriarch, let us deliver food." "Yes, send food." Seemingly finding a reason, both of them nodded quickly. "Oh, what about the food?" the woman asked with a smile. "Yeah, I forgot, I'm going to get it now." Chen Qinghe couldn't suppress the panic in his heart and hurriedly wanted to escape, but the woman grabbed him by the collar, followed by a roar. "Chen Qinghe, let's see if I don't spread your ass today." "Qingmeng, hurry, run, go and call the clan leader to save me." Looking at Chen Qingmeng running away, Xiao Junfang had a dark look on her face. These two little fools actually wanted to go hunting in the Mass Burial Mountain. If the tribesmen hadn't told her in a dream, she really wouldn't have discovered it. After a meal, Chen Qinghe and Chen Qingmeng left the family smoothly. It's just that the things the two of them had prepared for hunting had been confiscated. Leaving with the two of them, there was also a wooden wheeled cart, which was pulling dozens of kilograms of rice. At this moment, Chen Qinghe was in front and Chen Qingmeng was behind. The two of them were pushing the cart towards the village mentioned by the patriarch. Although the rice is a bit heavy, the two of them are also body-tempering realm warriors, so this weight is not a problem for them. Brothers from the Qingyu clan can go, why can't I go? I'm already in the middle stage of the body-tempering realm after all. Maybe I can also make a breakthrough in hunting. Qingmeng, do you think this is true? Chen Qinghe said angrily while pulling the cart. Actually, I think it's okay to send food. Anyway, it's all a contribution to the family. Chen Qingmeng said nonchalantly. This made Chen Qinghe instantly dumbfounded. But hunting seems to be more interesting. That's right. After all, they were young people. In the novel environment around them that was different from their family, the emotions in their hearts quickly disappeared. The two of them were pulling the cart and walking on the relatively flat road. Chen Qinghe suddenly asked, "Qingmeng, what do you want to do in the future?" Chen Qingmeng replied without hesitation. "In the future, I want to be as powerful as Brother Qingyu." "Then, what do you want to do now that Brother Qingyu is so powerful?" After hearing this, Chen Qingmeng showed his long-awaited reflection, but he quickly replied, "Of course it is to protect the family and make the family stronger. At that time, I will hunt 2 ferocious beasts a day, eat one, and raise another. This way the family will not have to worry about running out of food in the future." After saying that, Chen Qing licked his lips subconsciously, and his eyes seemed to have thought about how to eat the hunting beast. After hearing Chen Qingmeng's thoughts, Chen Qinghe sighed helplessly on his immature face. Qinghe, what about you? What do you want to do in the future? Chen Qingmeng, who had regained his senses, asked back. Chen Qinghe also replied, I also want to be as powerful as my Qingyu clan brother first. Then, I want to go outside the mass burial mountain and have a look. I heard from my grandpa that the outside world is very big, with many powerful people and many beautiful places. I want to see different scenery. Chen Qinghe looked across the surrounding mountains and looked into the distance, with a trace of yearning in his eyes. Qingmeng, otherwise you can go with me when the time comes. I heard there are a lot of delicious food out there. Chen Qingmeng also had a trace of yearning in his eyes, but then he shook his head. No, my grandfather said, it's very dangerous outside, it's better to stay within the family. Chen Qinghe didn't look disappointed after hearing this, but said with a smile. Okay, then when I return to my clan, I will bring you delicious food. Keep the ones you haven't eaten. Okay, the two of them smiled and thought about the bright future. The rays of the setting sun hit the two of them, stretching their shadows very long. It didn't take long before the two of them saw their destination ahead. It was an extremely simple village. Around the village, there were crooked stone walls that were half a person tall. The stone walls were not complete, and there were gaps at regular intervals. It was hard to believe in the defense of this stone wall. Among the surrounding stone walls, there are about a dozen houses built of wood and straw. These houses are still simple, and the straw on the roofs is of varying colors, as if they have just been repaired. The two people who saw their destination breathed a sigh of relief, slowed down, and then arrived at the entrance of the village. The distance between the family and this village is not short. Even though these dozens of kilograms of rice are not too heavy, it still cost the two of them a lot of energy. Stone Village. Chen Qingmeng looked at the three big characters on the wooden board above the village entrance and read them unconsciously. But when he read the second character, Chen Qingmeng started scratching his head and then looked at Chen Qinghe. Qinghe, what do you pronounce the middle character? Chen Qinghe looked up and stared for a long time, then shook his head. It doesn't matter, just call it Stone Village. Let's finish it quickly and go back, otherwise it will be too late. Seeing the sky getting later and later, Chen Qingmeng nodded hastily. According to the speed of the two of them, they should have arrived faster, but they were just playful and stayed for a long time. Seeing that there seemed to be no one in the village, Chen Qinghe and the two wanted to speed up the progress without hesitation. They directly pushed the cart behind them into the village and quickly arrived at the door of a house. Clang clang clang. Fellow, open the door, we are here to deliver food. Open the door quickly. After Chen Qinghe knocked a few times, the wooden door, which was not strong enough, made a hissing sound, and then fell down under the gaze of the two people. Chen Qinghe's hand that was about to knock on the door stopped in midair. After realizing that he had broken someone else's door, Chen Qinghe's face also changed slightly. He forgot that he was already a warrior in the middle stage of the body-tempering realm. He had just risen to the realm and was still unable to perfectly control his own power, which resulted in him using a little too much strength. That's all. After the door fell down, Chen Qinghe glanced across the simple room and found the father and daughter hiding in the corner, shivering. The father and daughter looked at the broken door and did not dare to say anything. They just looked at Chen Qinghe with fearful eyes. An awkward smile appeared on Chen Qinghe's face. So you are at home. I'm here to deliver food. Come on, get the food quickly. Chen Qinghe tried to use the most friendly and sunny smile, but the room was dark, and Chen Qinghe's figure directly enveloped the entire door, revealing only a pair of shining white teeth. At this moment, Chen Qinghe's smile looked like a mandrill with a strange smile in the eyes of the father and daughter. Hey, I finally found someone. Chen Qingmeng's inappropriate words came from the side. These words completely broke the silence in the room. Sir, have mercy on me, my lord, have mercy on me. I don't have anything valuable at home. Please let us go. Ooh, Grandpa, I'm afraid. The old man tried hard to protect his granddaughter behind him and kept begging for mercy. This made the smile on Chen Qinghe's face freeze. Chen Qingmeng, who was unloading the rice from the cart, also stopped and scratched his head in confusion. They had never encountered such a situation. Beast, stop. I'm not that easy to bully in Stone Village. Just when the two of them were at a loss and didn't know what to do, a dozen villagers quickly rushed out of other houses nearby. These villagers are both male and female, and at this moment they are holding the farm tools they usually work with. However, from the slightly frightened eyes of many villagers, they still cannot hide the fear and panic in their hearts. And when these dozen people saw Chen Qinghe and Chen Qingmeng blocking the door, there was a hint of surprise in their eyes. Just because these two people don't look like bad people. But the old man's begging for mercy and the girls crying in the house revealed the crimes of the two. Coupled with the damaged door, the situation goes without saying. Beasts, what have you done? A middle-aged man held a wooden stick, gritted his teeth, and said angrily. We are here to deliver food. Chen Qingmeng answered directly and put the bag of rice that had just fallen on the ground on the cart to avoid it getting dirty. You call this sending food? The other villagers were extremely angry when they saw this. This was obviously a robbery in front of them. Everyone was on edge and ready to take action. Chen Qinghe was a little dumbfounded, but he didn't know how to explain this situation. But in order to prevent the villagers from taking action, Chen Qinghe silently circulated his blood energy, and then kicked the big stone aside into several pieces. Feeling the pain in his feet, Chen Qinghe had no expression on his face, trying to recall the indifference that Brother Qingyu often showed. Fortunately, he is currently in the middle stage of the body tempering realm, otherwise he still wouldn't be able to break it. The villagers who were originally preparing to attack the two were stunned when they saw the scene in front of them. They looked at Chen Qinghe with incredulous eyes, and their thoughts of taking action disappeared in an instant. Their bodies are no match for that big stone. The leading middle-aged man was also stunned when he saw this, and said in surprise. Musha. Seeing that the situation had become stable, Chen Qinghe slowly spoke. Everyone, I am Chen Qinghe of the Chen family. I am specially ordered by the clan leader to bring rice to you today. As for just now, there was some misunderstanding. Yes, it's a misunderstanding. Chen Qingmeng on the side also nodded. Seeing that Chen Qinghe and the two were generous, with calm expressions and calm temperaments. Thinking back to the scene where Chen Qinghe kicked the boulder into pieces just now, these villagers also showed a trace of doubt in their eyes. Moreover, it seems that the many grains on the cart cannot be found from the homes of Mr. Sun and his daughter. Everyone, please give way, the village chief is here. Soon, an old man came over panting. Although he didn't see the scene just now, the villagers had already described it to him. After seeing Gumi and Chen Qinghe on the cart, the old man hurriedly said. Get out of the way, what are you doing? These two are members of the Chen family, and they are here to deliver food. Old son, please come out and explain. The old man in the wooden house also walked out quickly. After seeing Chen Qinghe and Chen Qingmeng who were just teenagers at the door, the somewhat fearful expression on his face also changed. But you can't blame him. He heard someone banging on the door and didn't say anything, but shouted loudly for him to open the door. How dare he open it? Fortunately, the misunderstanding was quickly explained. After several villagers apologized, Chen Qinghe also said that it didn't matter and that his actions were too reckless. Soon, the two of them were distributing rice to the people in the village. This time the two brought a lot of rice, but there were only about 10 households in this stone village, so there was still a lot of rice left. After the discussion between Chen Qinghe and Chen Qingmeng, the remaining rice was quickly illuminated. As for the father and daughter, in order to compensate them for the wooden doors they lost, Chen Qingyu paid more. While distributing rice, Chen Qingmeng did not forget the number of people and households in the village. This was something the clan leader had explained in advance. After the two of them finished doing these things, it was already dark. Are you two friends going to leave now? It's so late, why not stay in our Shibian village for one night? Although there isn't much good stuff in our Shibian village, we still have some simple food. You two kids probably haven't eaten yet, right? Hearing that the two were going back to their clan, the old man as the village chief quickly came forward to persuade them to stay. Not only the old man, but other villagers also warmly invited him. Facing the enthusiasm of the villagers, Chen Qing and the two of them also hesitated, and their stomachs could not help but growl. Although warriors are strong, they consume food quickly, not to mention that traveling during the day also consumes a lot of energy. Besides, it was indeed getting darker, so the two of them were very hesitant at the moment. My two little friends, we didn't entertain you well during the day. Why don't you stay one night as an apology to the villagers and go back tomorrow? After the village chief's persuasion, Chen Qinghe and the two men no longer hesitated. They are indeed hungry, so it seems not impossible to go back tomorrow. Clan leader, how's it going? Where are they two now? Among the Chen family, Chen Tianjing asked with worry. The other members of the family have returned, but Chen Qingyu and the two have not been seen for a long time, so he had to ask the clan leader. Don't worry, I have just consulted the sacred tree and the elders of the clan. The two of them have not encountered any danger. They seem to be living in that village. Chen Tianjing was no longer worried after hearing the news. Since the sacred tree has given instructions, there must be no problem. But when this kid comes back, he will definitely not show mercy. Tianjing, how are things going these days? When Chen Xingzhen asked about business, Chen Tianjing immediately said, Chief, according to the statistics of the clan members in recent days, there are 38 villages of various sizes near our mass burial mountain. The largest village has 40 households, and the smallest village has only 8 households. There are more than 1,500 households in total. There are about 3,000 kilograms of rice this time. In several of the large villages, several body-tempering realm warriors were found. Chen Xingzhen nodded slightly after hearing this. This amount was within his expectation. Come to think of it, the name of the Chen family in Mass Burial Mountain has been known to nearby villages, which will greatly facilitate the family's future development. As for the presence of warriors in the village, it is not surprising, as long as they have nothing to do with the Li family and the Lu family. The few warriors who were discovered only entered the body-tempering realm by chance, but without their skills, they were never able to enter a higher realm. As for whether the family will absorb these warriors, Chen Xingzhen's answer is no. Families have always valued blood relationships. The high-level warriors who maintain the family must be members of the family, so as to ensure that the family has a long history. Although absorbing other warriors can quickly increase the strength of the family, it is still not one's own. If it continues for a long time, it will not be conducive to the development of the family. However, when there are more warriors in the family and the strength of the family becomes stronger, it is not impossible to recruit some warriors similar to those in the nursing home or those with certain experience to teach the clan members. Although there are ancestors in the clan who have fallen asleep, they are all at night and cannot personally guide the clan members. And for example, the blood coagulation realm warriors in the clan are actually very weak in the face of experience in some realms. These are the weaknesses of the family. But now the family has not met this condition and is in no hurry. Chen Xingzhen then called Chen Tianyu and others to ask for other details. After learning that many tribesmen had gained something when distributing rice, Chen Xingzhen smiled again. In this way, after a while, the major villages can be notified to choose a suitable place to hold a blind date conference. The family's conditions are excellent, and there should be many people willing to come to major villages. At the entrance of Shibing village, the village chief and a group of villagers sent them a long way away, but they still didn't return to the village. Chen Qinghe and Chen Qingmeng saw this and hurriedly said, Village chief, don't send me off, we're leaving. If he is sent any further, he will have to be sent back to his clan. Oh well, the village chief hesitated to speak, and scratched his head from time to time, hoping that Chen Qinghe and the others would see through his disguise and get into his heart. But after he finished this series of actions, he heard the villager next to him say, Village chief, they are gone. Ah, are you leaving now? The village chief looked up and saw that the two figures had gone far away, and it seemed that it was too late to chase them now. This made him sigh deeply and hurriedly ask the man beside him, How many kilograms of rice did they eat last night? 15 pounds, village chief. Upon hearing this answer, his heartbeat slowed down by 2 beats. Maybe he was a little too enthusiastic last night. If he had known better, he wouldn't have left the two of them alone. But he didn't expect that these two teenagers were so good at eating. If the two of them hadn't brought a lot of rice, they would probably have eaten all they could by staying overnight. It was precisely because of this that he was embarrassed to speak just now. After all, He came all the way to deliver food to the village, just for one meal, even though the food belonged to his family. Alas, it seems that he will have to tighten his belt in the future. I really don't need to eat this rice, so blood rice is the best. Yeah, I just had enough food last night and I feel a little hungry again. On the way back home, Chen Qinghe and the two talked. But in fact this is not the case, just because after eating blood rice on weekdays, both of them will temper their bodies and digest the blood rice. Ordinary rice does not produce much qi in blood. In addition, the two of them consumed a lot yesterday, which made them hungry very quickly. As for the meaning expressed by the village chief's expression and actions just now, the two of them did not notice it. Following yesterday's road, the two of them rushed back to the family in a short time. However, when the two of them saw Chen Tianjing and Chen Tianyu guarding the door, the joy they had just been communicating with instantly dissipated. Boom. As the Teizu long fist came to an end, the ferocious beast in the middle stage of the blood coagulation realm in front of him was directly killed by Chen Qingyu with one punch. But after dealing with this ferocious beast, Chen Qingyu's face was not filled with joy, but with a hint of sadness. When he fought with Lu Shengrong before, he was lucky enough to understand the secret of Teizu Changquan, but now when he uses Teizu Changquan, he has no such understanding, and it seems that he is always just a little bit behind. As for the newly learned Zon level combat skill of Mingyu Rushwang, he has not yet started. The Zon level combat skill is still more difficult to master than Teizu Changquan, but he feels that he can almost get started with this combat skill in 2 days. Combat skills are just that. Now Chen Qingyu wants to break through his own realm, which is not only the blood coagulation realm, but the innate realm. He had previously used the locust leaves of the sacred tree to briefly break through to the innate realm. Although it was not a breakthrough by himself, and it was slightly different from the real innate realm, it was still the innate realm, and it was also an extremely valuable experience. It is precisely because of this experience that Chen Qingyu wants to break through to the innate realm. After the elders of the clan were resurrected, his father had already told him in his dream several ways to quickly break through the situation. Among them, the one that suited him was the current combat breakthrough method, which stimulated his own energy and blood in high-intensity battles. The strength of the ferocious beast in the middle stage of the blood coagulation realm just now was too weak to allow him to fight fiercely. He still needed to find a ferocious beast with a higher realm. But it can't be in the innate realm, it can only be seeking death. However, he had gained a lot from his 2-day trip to Mass Burial Mountain, and he felt that he would soon reach the level of blood coagulation. After Chen Qingyu disposed of the bodies of the hunted beasts, she prepared to leave. As he was leaving, there was a sudden cold touch on his forehead, which made Chen Qingyu couldn't help but look up. I saw snowflakes falling slowly from the white sky. These snowflakes are crystal clear and melt quickly when they come into contact with the skin, and then turn into a cool feeling. After Chen Qingyu stayed briefly, his figure quickly disappeared. Snowing. The snow fell silently, and the cold penetrated into my bones. But under the protection of the sacred tree, the Chen family members did not feel this way. However, many members of the family were still excited when they looked at the snowflakes falling in the sky. This excitement was not simply due to seeing snow. Mass Burial Mountain snows every winter, and snow is nothing but normal for them. On the contrary, they do not like the arrival of winter, which means that the tribe cannot plant or hunt, and may even cause many tribesmen to suffer from cold due to the cold. But things are different now. The family has completely established its foundation in Mass Burial Mountain. The clan is warm and comfortable. Even if the first 2 are still not enough, the clan members don't have to worry about food. Recalling last winter, the family was still fighting endlessly with the Li family, and the tribesmen also lived a life without enough to eat. The completely different moods and improved families made many tribesmen have different feelings, and only then did they notice the beautiful scenery of heavy snow. Many tribesmen were even more surprised to find that whenever the snowflakes fell above the Chen family, they had completely melted without leaving any traces. A few meters away from the Chen family, the falling snowflakes had already accumulated a thin layer of white frost on the ground. At first glance, the inside and outside of the clan seem like 2 different worlds. Have all the clan members returned to their clan? In the ancestral hall, Chen Xingzhen asked Chen Tianjing and others beside him. Clan leader. Many clan members who were outside have all returned to their clans, and all major villages have received the rice distributed by the clan. Now only Qingyu has not heard back. Chen Xingzhen nodded slightly when he heard this. Plowing in the spring, hoeing in the summer, harvesting in the autumn and storing in the winter. Although the clan cannot do much in winter, it allows the clan members to devote themselves wholeheartedly to martial arts. As for Chen Qingyu, it's too late to worry now. We can only hope that he can get back to his family before the heavy snow closes the mountain. But after it snowed, Chen Xingzhen's previous plan was ruined. Although the family is not afraid of wind and snow now, the many villages surrounding the burial mountain are not. The roads are blocked by snow, which will make it impossible for the clan to contact various villages. Naturally, the previous idea will not work. This was an oversight on his part. Now I can only wait until the snow stops before making plans. After thinking for a moment, Chen Xingzhen turned around and said, "In the past few days, you will be responsible for the training of the warriors in the clan. In a few days, you will take a look at how well the clan members have learned their combat skills." He did not forget the promise he made before and gave rewards to the first 3 people. However, considering the relationship between realms, blood coagulation realm warriors will not be assessed. Yes, Patriarch. After several tribesmen left, Chen Xingzhen looked at the family sacred tree again, and then worshipped it devoutly. The family is what it is today, and the sacred tree is indispensable. In the coming year, the family will inevitably offer more sacrifices. Above, it seemed that Chen Xingzhen's devout prayers were heard. Dots of green light were scattered on the branches and leaves of the locust tree, blending into Chen Xingzhen's body. Although it cannot help Chen Xingzhen improve his realm, it can also make the blood in his body more active. With active qi and blood, your lifespan will naturally be longer. Ji Yang admired the head of the Chen family who blindly trusted the sacred tree and was persistent. Although this kind of blindness seems irrational to other tribesmen, Ji Yang, who inherited the will of the family's sacred tree, is unable to make an evaluation. After Chen Xingzhen left the ancestral hall, Ji Yang looked at the falling snowflakes in the sky. In his previous life, he had never seen such beautiful scenery. In order to feel it up close, Ji Yang even controlled the temperature above himself, letting many snowflakes fall on his branches and leaves. Unfortunately, what he has now is a tree, and the thick bark makes him feel nothing like before, only adding a touch of sadness. After a while, Ji Yang looked away and turned to his attribute panel. Name: Ji Yang. Race: Netherworld Locust Tree. Vitality: 172.5. Supernatural powers: Eye of Insight, Reversal of Pill Movement, Blind Eyes with a Leaf, Soul Condensation, Armor Covering, 1,000 miles away. Exercise: Lunar Eclipse, Gathering Yin. Combat Skill: Teizu Chengquan. Qi and Blood: 35 can be converted into Vitality. Spiritual Power: 50. Deduction Points: 11 can be deduced. Status: some people are alive, but he is dead. Several days of sacrifices from the clan had restored his vitality to fullness, and after absorbing Qingzu's consciousness, Ji Yang could see farther. Before, I could only see where the roots extended, but now I can see the outline of the entire family. And when his vitality continues to increase, he will naturally be able to see further as his roots expand. It's just that the big family sacrifice has passed, and after that, sacrifices have to be made once a week. Fortunately, Ji Yang himself also has the lunar eclipse technique. As long as he has enough time, he can grow up very quickly. With Ji Yang's current absorption speed, he can absorb 3 points of vitality every night. However, a few days ago, Ji Yang used the magical power of Kai Di Qinli to maintain the temperature in the clan. Although it is simply letting the underground roots dissipate heat, according to Ji Yang's calculation, approximately 0.1 of his life force will be consumed every 2 hours. In other words, if you maintain it for a day, you will need to consume 0.6 of your vitality. Although it's not much, it adds up to a lot. The winter in the mass burial mountain is extremely cold, and Ji Yang is not prepared to take away this magical power. Now that the family has no external worries, it is of course necessary for the family to develop rapidly. If the weather is too cold, the tribesmen may not be interested in doing anything else. Soon, Ji Yang looked at the deduction points below. In the past few days, with the accumulation of large amounts of blood rice and the flesh and blood of ferocious beasts, some ordinary people in the clan also successfully tempered their bodies and became warriors. Although it was only the initial stage of body tempering, it also added a few deduction points to Ji Yang. It's just that they are old and don't have enough energy and blood. Even if they barely enter the body tempering realm, they can't go any further. But he is still a warrior after all, and is still much stronger than ordinary people. When Ji Yang looked at the button that could be deduced, his heart couldn't help but move. Although these deduction points are only enough for double deductions, and single deductions can only be performed twice, Ji Yang, who is really bored, can't hold back. Although high-power deduction can unlock rare maps, single-power deduction seems to be good too. For example, the first deduction that was still fresh in Ji Yang's memory was when he obtained the lunar eclipse technique. If he could do it over again, he might have a chance to obtain another skill. If he could really encounter it, it would definitely improve Ji Yang greatly. This made Ji Yang very excited. There is nothing going on in the family now. With the current snowfall rate, within a few days, the family will be surrounded by thick snow. In this kind of weather, I don't think the family will encounter any danger, and he has a lot of vitality now, which is enough for another family war. With this thought, Ji Yang no longer hesitated. Considering that the purpose of his deduction was to obtain a technique similar to the lunar eclipse, Ji Yang decided to perform the deduction in single time to try the effect. And the chances twice are much greater than once. This deduction requires 10 blood, 5 spiritual power, and 5 deduction points. Do you want to continue? Whether. Ji Yang was not given time to react, and there was no marquee-like image. The moment he clicked yes, a scene changed before Ji Yang's eyes. This made Ji Yang couldn't help complaining. Isn't it just that I gave him a little less energy and blood? No matter how I look at him, I won't even let him take a look. You were born in a dense forest. In order to become a towering tree as soon as possible, you began to work hard to grow. Just as Ji Yang was complaining in his mind and observing the surrounding environment, the reminder in front of him instantly made Ji Yang energetic. If he remembered correctly, his first deduction, the time when he obtained the lunar eclipse technique, seemed to have been in a dense forest. Could it be that he's going to be lucky? Without the bonus of multiple deductions, Ji Yang does not carry any abilities, and he is just a new seedling, with nothing special about him. As the subtitles faded, Ji Yang began to carefully observe his surroundings, looking for the figure of the spring and autumn cicada. But after searching for several times, Ji Yang couldn't see it. But if you think about it carefully, with his current size and height, even if he sees the spring-autumn cicada, he probably won't be able to attract it. It is better to wait and see what happens. Time began to accelerate again, and Ji Yang himself slowly began to grow. It didn't take long for Ji Yang to be more than half a person tall. Just as Ji Yang was growing up, there was some movement in the grass not far from the dense forest. This made Ji Yang couldn't help but look over. The first thing that appeared in Ji Yang's field of vision was a pair of bright white fangs. As the owner of the fangs got closer and closer, its full appearance was revealed. This is a ferocious beast that Ji Yang is quite familiar with, the black gold beast, but it is slightly different from the black gold beast in Mass Burial Mountain, with a different color. In his previous life, he had another nickname, Wild Boar. It's just that the black gold beast in front of him seems to be at a particularly high level, and even his dull eyes have some spirituality. But after reincarnation, Ji Yang's powerful consciousness did not accompany him, and his specific realm could not be distinguished. He could only make guesses based on his body shape. After the black gold beast passed through the grass, it quickly moved towards Ji Yang. This made Ji Yang feel a little bad. Before Ji Yang had time to react, the fangs of the black gold beast appeared in front of Ji Yang. The next moment, Ji Yang's vision went dark, and at the same time there was a slight sound of chewing in his ears. Ujinman thinks you are delicious, you are dead. As the prompt in front of him disappeared, Ji Yang's vision began to change again. And when the black gold beast swallowed Ji Yang, its eyes became much brighter, and its eyes were looking around, as if looking for the same saplings. Ji Yang, who returned to the ancestral hall, couldn't help but cursed in his heart. If you deduce it again, he will be a dog. End of deduction. You have learned a new ability in this deduction, sensitivity and perception. Sensitive and sensitive. you can easily detect the malicious intentions of others. Ji Yang was surprised. He didn't expect to die so quickly and gain a new ability. Not bad, but Ji Yang had no intention of using the remaining deduction points. Single-fold deduction cannot carry its own capabilities, and the risk is indeed relatively high. It is better to save it for multi-fold deduction next time. Now if you want to open up the family situation, it will not take a moment, and you will have to wait for him to remain silent for a while. Hey, ha. 3 days later, the sounds of fists were heard in the family square. Looking around, many family warriors gathered here to practice their fighting skills. 10 meters away from the family, snowflakes were flying, but compared to the previous few days, they were much smaller. However, the snowfall in the past few days has already caused a thick layer of snow outside the clan. But the temperature in the clan is pleasant, and many warriors practicing combat skills are wearing thin clothes, with heat emanating from their bodies. Hey, when can I learn this combat skill? In the square, Chen Qinghe sighed. The Teizu Chong fist he fired also had little strength. Even if it is just a yellow-level combat skill, it still requires a lot of practice to learn it. On the side, Chen Qingmeng looked determined and continued to pump his fists, feeling the movement of qi and blood in his body, integrating the movements of his hands with the movement of qi and blood into one. Seeing that Chen Qingmeng did not give up, Chen Qinghe stopped complaining and continued to practice. Not far away, Chen Xingzhen looked at the scene in the square with relief. Although most of the body tempering realm warriors in the family have not yet learned it, it won't take long to do so. As for the combat skill of Mingyu Rushwang, it has only been passed down to the blood coagulation realm warriors in the clan for the time being. But Zon-level combat skills are also extremely difficult to acquire. Then, Chen Qingyu looked into the distance. There was also some worry in my heart. It had been snowing for the past few days, but Chen Qingyu still hadn't returned. If he hadn't asked the sacred tree for instructions and learned that there was no problem, he might have sent his tribe to look for it. Clan leader, all the new clothes for the clan have been prepared. On the side, Xiao Junfang stepped forward to report. Hearing this, Chen Xingzhen nodded repeatedly. Thank you for your hard work. I just happened to have written the new clan rules. I'll send them out together later. Yes, Patriarch. Xiao Junfang led 2 clan members towards the square. In the hands of a few people were the family's new clothes. When several people came to the square with new family clothes, many clan members were attracted. The new clothes are all made of fine furs, in the style of a long gown, with 2 layers. They can keep out the cold in winter, and you only need to wear the outer layer in summer. The style of the clothes is similar to the clothes worn by the tribe. Although it looks simple, there is an extra embroidery pattern on the cuffs of the new clothes. On the pattern, the tattoo is naturally the family totem. In the embroidery, green and black are also used, interspersed with embroidery, to perfectly depict the current family sacred tree. It can be seen that the tribe has spent a lot of effort in this aspect. The clansmen who got new clothes all had happy faces and held them in their hands as treasures. Worried about getting dirty, many clan members were even prepared to store it, but were later told that the family would need to wear these clothes whenever they needed to go out in the future. This was naturally an idea put forward by the deceased elders of the family. If a family wants to be strong, it not only needs a certain amount of strength, but also needs a new scene to the outside world. Only in this way can a strong family be created. And with a totem, the tribesmen can always worship and pray in their hearts. And in the future, the family logo will also use this pattern. In addition to new clothes, there are also new clan rules handed out. Family rules have always been there, but the past rules are not very suitable for today's family, so many of them have been abandoned. But now it's no longer possible. Chen Qinghe opened the clan rules in his hand. 1. If the matter is not urgent, clan members are not allowed to use the 5 internal organs ascension technique. 2. Even if it is used, the heart cannot be exploded. Anyone who finds it will not be allowed to enter the family ancestral hall. 3. It is strictly forbidden to pass on the final form of the Wuzang Heaven ascension technique to unsuspecting tribesmen. 4. If you encounter an unstoppable danger outside, rush back to your family as soon as possible. Looking at the new family rules, Chen Qinghe was stunned for a moment. These first three are the clan rules regarding the art of ascending the 5 internal organs to heaven, but when thinking about the clan member from before, everyone had no objections. It's just that the clan rules are quite long, so they have to pay attention to them for a while. In the distance, Chen Xingzhen was also paying attention to the reactions of the tribesmen. Although these clan rules have many restrictions, they are ultimately for the safety of each clan member and family. With the power of the sacred tree, the 5 internal organs ascension technique may really be able to help the family, but the last move needs to be guarded against. Even if this combat technique is passed down in the future, the last heart-exploding technique needs to be removed. The next day, the snowflakes in the sky disappeared. The snow has stopped, but the weather is still cold. It will take about 2 months to wait for the snow to melt, and it is very likely to snow again during this period. After noticing that the snow had stopped, Chen Xingzhen quickly issued an order to let his clan members open up roads leading to other villages. The winter is long, and even if you can't plant or hunt, the family's development cannot stagnate. Many tribesmen who heard the news also started to get busy. Blood coagulation realm warriors have strong energy and blood, and they can melt snow using combat skills. Every blood coagulation realm warrior is an automatic snow shovel. As for the body tempering realm warriors, they can only rely on the tools in their hands. Even with the full assistance of the warriors in the clan, it took the family 10 days to open up the family's roads to many villages. Fortunately, it didn't snow in Mass Burial Mountain during these 10 days. On the second day after the family shoveled snow, Chen Qingyu returned to the family dragging her injured body. Although he suffered a lot of injuries, the light in his eyes was even brighter, and his state had reached the level of blood coagulation. The injury was quite serious, but under the treatment of the sacred tree, he returned to normal in just a moment. Chen Qingyu, who had recovered from her injuries, seemed to have gained something, and directly chose to retreat in her clan. Chen Xingzhen was naturally overjoyed after hearing this. He immediately prepared the room and did not allow his clan members to disturb him. The other side, when many villages discovered that the Chen family members had arrived, they all looked surprised. After all, the mountains are closed by heavy snow on weekdays, and the villagers can only shovel away the snow in their own villages. This is already the limit of the village, so how can they waste their efforts to open roads outside? After learning about the Chen family's intention to come, the village chiefs of each village were delighted and began to discuss it in the village. Chance. 2 words appeared in their minds. Nowadays, there is only one family in the Mass Burial Mountain, the Chen family. Both the fertile land and the hunting area of the Mass Burial Mountain are controlled by the Chen family. Although they usually hunt and farm, that is also a place that the 3 major families did not want. There are not many wild animals in the hunting area, and the resources are not rich. Even the fields where they are planted can only produce an average harvest of rice. As for blood rice, they can't grow it at all. The fertile fields that can grow blood rice are all controlled by the 3 major families. But now the Chen family is planning to marry outside. Isn't this a good opportunity for these villages? As long as a villager marries into the Chen family, the relationship between the village and the Chen family will inevitably become closer. Mass Burial Mountain is neither big nor small. With contact, at least the villagers' lives will become better in every aspect. In addition, the Chen family has many warriors, even blood coagulation realm warriors. Moreover, the people who came to announce the news this time included many Chen family warriors. Although most villagers don't know the boundaries, they know that this is the limit of what they can touch. It is said that strong warriors can hunt ferocious beasts. That's not something ordinary beasts can compare to. It's said that a piece of meat can last a whole day. After marrying into the village and giving birth to children, can they still be warriors in the future? Even though she is a member of the Chen family, her mother also left the village. If she has a future, why not help the villagers? No matter from any aspect, the marriage is extremely beneficial to the village. Whether it is now or in the future. After the Chen family members stated their intention to come, many villages directly agreed without even thinking about it, and asked about the specific time of the marriage. Some villages immediately heard back after thinking about it. Among them, all the villages, large and small, except for a few villages with a declining population and no marriageable women, agreed. As for the specific time of the marriage, the family said it in 3 days. The tribesmen who received the news also had expectations and began to prepare for the subsequent marriage. In this world, people who are over 16 years old are already adults. There are already many adult clan members in the family, and most of them are members of the Qing generation. These clan members have not had time to get married due to the previous wars in the family. But with so many villages participating, it shouldn't be a big problem. What? Your father wants you to marry into the Chen family? In Chengliu village, a young man looked at the girl in front of him with surprise, his eyes full of disbelief. Well, my father said that the Chen family is now a big family in Mass Burial Mountain and asked me to marry into it. Kai Sheng, what should I do? The girl's face was sad, with a hint of pleading in her eyes. The young man who heard the girl's words turned pale. He had asked the girl's father before to betroth the girl to him, but he was so poor that he couldn't get enough of her. Now that he learned that his beloved woman was about to marry into the Chen family, the young man looked depressed, but could not say anything for a while. Now the Chen family is the dominant one, and every village knows that he is just a villager, not even a warrior. Even the girl's father doesn't agree, so how can he compete with the Chen family? The young man fell into silence, not even knowing when the girl left. The weather is cold, but the young people's hearts are even colder. Hateful. 30 years in Hedong, 30 years in Hexi. I, Zhang Tizu, will never give up. 3 days later, a new pavilion had been built outside the Chen family. The pavilion is simple, but protected by the power of the sacred tree. It looks unique in this vast white snow. In each village, villagers also brought girls of the right age from their clans. In order to prevent someone in the village from forcing an unwilling girl, or from breaking up the childhood sweethearts in the village, Chen Xingzhen even asked the girls who came one by one whether they were interested in her and whether they were willing to do so. Although with the current strength of the family, there is no need to care about this. But for the sake of the harmony of the family and the village, it's better not to have this kind of thing happen. There are so many villages, and with the marriageable people in the clan now, there is no need to worry about not having enough. After some investigation by Chen Xingzhen, he actually found a few. Although they said they didn't, as warriors in the late stage of blood coagulation realm, the looks and movements of these people were invisible to him. Of course, this is just a small episode. This time, more than 100 girls were brought from major villages. There are only about 10 marriageable members of the Chen family. If it weren't for the age limit and if Chen Qinghe and others were unwilling, Chen Tianjing and others would have been prepared to force the marriage. Although there are not many people of marriageable age in the tribe, such a large scene has attracted many tribesmen to come and watch. Qingmeng, what are you looking at? Chen Qinghe looked at Chen Qingmeng, who was slightly demented, and asked. Chen Qingmeng did not answer, but Chen Qinghe followed his gaze and looked at the girl in front of him. This girl is young, has long braids, and has a slightly timid face, but her muscles are very strong, and she is quite eye-catching in the crowd. Qingmeng, do you like this? Chen Qinghe asked again. Chen Qingmeng nodded without hesitation. My mother said that only people like this can be strong. When choosing a wife, you must choose someone like this. In 2 years, I will choose someone stronger than this. Chen Qinghe didn't refute. In fact, most of the girls present were like this, and the other tribesmen didn't think there was anything wrong. They would even give priority to those with strong bodies during the selection process. As for those with weak bodies, most of them were eliminated by the tribesmen at the first opportunity. But Chen Qinghe didn't like this very much, mainly because these girls looked very similar to his mother. Chen Qinghe felt a little scared when he thought about having an extra mother after getting married. In the bonfire burning outside the clan, the blind date meeting went extremely smoothly. Some of them have taken a liking to them early on, and some agreed after some communication. After confirming the marriage partner, Chen Xingzhen also asked his tribe to escort the person he liked back to enhance the relationship between the two. As for the other girls, they were escorted back by other tribesmen. Although the weather was cold, there was no guarantee that there would be ferocious beasts in the wild. Since this matter was initiated by the Chen family, their safety must be protected. After confirming the candidate, it is time to choose a date to get married. Although it only takes a short time to get married, marriage is also a family matter and needs to be taken seriously. Choosing a good day, time to hold the ceremony requires the approval of the family's sacred tree. Only in this way can he enter the Chen family. As for the time, it was set in a few days. In the meantime, the family and the village would each make preparations. As a big family in Mass Burial Mountain today, the betrothal gift cannot be shabby. Although the strength of the two is not equal, it comes from the importance the family attaches to their clansmen. On this day, the Chen family was decorated with lanterns and decorations. There is a lively atmosphere inside and outside the clan. Today is a happy day for many clan members. The clan leader Chen Xingzhen has already made arrangements for all aspects. The daily martial arts practice has been put aside, and the rice wine brewed from the rice has also been brought out. Although the alcohol content of the rice wine is not high, everyone will get drunk if the wine is not intoxicating. Even Ji Yang in the ancestral hall tasted it, although he didn't taste anything. In addition to wine brewed from ordinary grains, the family also brewed some blood rice. The rice wine brewed from blood rice not only tastes good, but also contains more qi and blood than the blood rice itself. It is also more suitable for warriors to temper their bodies. However, the brewing time is longer. If you want to produce rice wine, you have to wait until next spring. In the ancestral hall, many living souls were full of joy, because among them, those getting married included their descendants. These living souls even worshipped in the ancestral hall. I didn't expect that they would still be able to see this scene after they died. Only the two souls in the corner side. In addition, the family also invited the village chiefs of many villages to participate this time. The village chiefs looked frightened, but after drinking for 3 times, they were no longer cautious. The purpose of inviting these village chiefs is also very simple, for the smooth progress of other things in the family's future. There are not many places where the family will employ people. As night approaches, the moon rises above the willow branches, the locust trees in the ancestral hall glow brightly, and the originally lively families gradually begin to quiet down. As for the village chiefs, they have already taken a break with their families and are waiting for their return tomorrow. Clan leader, let me help you go in and rest. No, you should go to bed earlier. Chen Xingzhen waved his hand and walked slowly towards his room. As the clan leader, he naturally couldn't be absent today, and after seeing that many clan members' marriages were settled, Chen Xingzhen couldn't help but drink a few more drinks. However, he is already a warrior in the late stage of blood coagulation realm, so this little rice wine is nothing to him. He can even use the power of qi and blood in his body to dispel the alcohol. But he didn't do that. Many clan members are drunk, but there are family elders in the clan watching from the sky. Since there is nothing to do, why not get drunk? Chen Xingzhen cleared his mind slightly and lay on the bed peacefully. As his breathing became steady, Chen Xingzhen slowly fell into sleep. Dad, you are here. In the dream, looking at Chen Changming in front of him, Chen Xingzhen said hello. However, he always felt that Chen Changming seemed a little worried today, which made Chen Xingzhen couldn't help but ask. Dad, what's wrong? Have I forgotten anything else in the clan recently? Chen Changming shook his head, pondered for a while, and then slowly said. Well, Xingzhen, you see, you are not young yet, but you are not married yet, and you have no children. Dad is thinking about it, are you? After hearing this, Chen Xingzhen's drunkenness disappeared, and then he woke up from his dream. This made him feel even more at a loss than when he heard the natural blood spring under the ancestral hall. Chen Xingzhen touched the non-existent sweat on his forehead and remembered what his father had just said in his dream, which made Chen Xingzhen couldn't help but smile bitterly. Dad, I am already old, and now I am the leader of the clan. How can I? In the room, Chen Changming sighed after being ejected from his dream. In fact, he didn't think it mattered. It's just that he is a little older, but the body of the blood coagulation realm warrior is still there and can continue to shine. He simply considered Chen Xingzhen as a father. But seeing Chen Xingzhen's opposition, Chen Changming did not intend to continue persuading him. Regardless, although there are no direct descendants, there are many descendants in the clan, so there is no need to worry about the family being short-lived. On the other side, Chen Tianxian was also wandering around a secret room with a sad look on his face. In the secret room, there is Chen Qingyu who is in retreat. As a father, after seeing that many clan members were married today, he naturally thought of Chen Qingyu. What's more, Chen Qingyu is not young anymore. He will be 24 next year. At this age, according to the normal rhythm of Mass Burial Mountain, he should be the father of several children now. But Chen Qingyu was not married yet, which made him feel a little worried. Could it be that this kid doesn't like girls? Chen Tianxian was a little anxious, but then he turned around and left. He planned to wait until Chen Qingyu came out of confinement before questioning him carefully. The next day, the family returned to normal. After sending away the village chiefs, the family began to operate normally, but now the family was much more lively. Taking advantage of the winter, when they are not busy yet, the Chen family is also preparing to expand its territory a little or two, so as to avoid insufficient housing due to the increase in the number of clan members in the future. The snow is capped and the family is thriving. Time flies, and it's already the beginning of February in a blink of an eye. The cold has not gone away, but the ice and snow on Mass Burial Mountain has slowly melted as the temperature rises. Among them, with the Chen family as the center, the surrounding ice and snow melted very quickly. In 2 months, the family has also undergone a lot of changes. During the winter expansion, the original family has doubled in size, and under the guidance of several elders, Chen Xingzhen built a new family in the family. After some planning, the family became more complete and more reasonable. In addition, there are many more women with slightly bulging bellies in the clan, who are pregnant with the hope of the new generation in the clan. And with the sacred tree here, there is no need to worry about the premature death of the child. In 2 months, many tribesmen have also learned the combat skill of Teizu Chengquan. Under the blood coagulation state, Chen Qingmeng was the first to learn the combat skill. This surprised many tribesmen. After all, Chen Qingmeng's martial arts talent was not very good. Seemingly inspired by Chen Qingmeng, Chen Qinghe also introduced Teizu Chengquan on the second day. Although the two of them cannot exert the power of this combat skill now, as their realm improves and the power of qi and blood in their bodies increases, the rest is only a matter of time. As for the third tribesman who has learned combat skills, it is Chen Tianquan who is in the late stage of body tempering realm. But Chen Tianquan felt quite ashamed about this. After all, he was the elder of the two of them, and he was still in the late stage of the body tempering realm, but he didn't learn as fast as the two juniors. But talent is something that doesn't matter one's seniority. The progress of the younger generation of clan members has also allowed many middle-aged warriors in the clan to speed up their own quenching. You can't be surpassed by the younger generation in every aspect, right? The ice and snow gradually melted, and the clan also made new arrangements. When the weather gets warmer in Mass Burial Mountain, the most important thing is to plant the first crop of grain rice and blood rice as soon as possible. This winter, there is not much food left in the clan, and the blood rice is gradually bottoming out. While the first crop of blood rice in the new year has not yet been harvested, the clan members cannot delay their body tempering. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.